on the Instagram,
Graham.
the gram.
Graham.
That's what the kids like to say, the gram. All right. And we are live there. We are live here. We are live there. We are live everywhere.
That's that new Cat in the Hat stuff, man.
I know. That's exactly what it is.
That is good to go. So, let me share my screen here. We're going to start things off a little bit different today.
All rise for the singing of our national anthem.
So this will be Brent Smith of Shinedown doing the national anthem at an NBA game. I thought it was pretty well done, so I wanted to share that at the beginning. So,
Department. Now, please remain standing for tonight's presentation of the national anthem, being performed by the lead singer of the multi-platinum rock band Shinedown, Brent Smith.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight sky steaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous sight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you very much.
yeah, I thought that was
The colors are being presented
pretty
tonight
good.
by the Seminole County.
That was Brent Smith of Shinedown singing our national anthem at a recent Orlando Magic basketball game.
Yep, so pretty good stuff. I always like to share those when, especially because like you said, the rock and metal industry don't get represented much at this stuff. So I always like to share when we can, and it is what it is. We've talked about how we think we're underrepresented. I guess sometimes it's some things like this, but it's all good because we kind of feel like we keep metal where it's at. So.
Well, it's kind of a weird. It's we've talked about it before. It's like a catch-22. It's like we want it to still be our music,
Right.
but we also want it to kind of get a little more appreciation. But it's weird. You can't. We're never going to have it both ways.
Well,
So
I think
it's kind of strange, but
we want the appreciation where we think it should be appreciated. I guess. It's like we talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We talk about the Grammy. Like those things, you have a award for that genre. We want to present it properly, just like every other genre. We don't want to be on your 30 minutes before you go live. You know what I mean? That's not what that's not proper representation. So
yeah, just equal amounts of respect really is all it amounts to. But
it's neither here. We already know where we stand with that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to another edition of Metalheads Unite.
Absolutely.
Been it was kind of a slow week for news until today hit, and then
Yeah.
like, with news. I actually found another story too. So
Did you? Okay, yeah.
I didn't get to share it with you because I was so for album reviews, I was listening to an album all day. It was crazy because it was the only one I didn't pay attention to. I was like, how did I miss it? Because I always when I add these songs to the playlist for the week, I always look to make sure it got released this week.
Right.
So how I missed that album, no fucking idea. Unless it was unless they released a single this week from that album back in November.
That's possible.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's how I missed it or what. I have to go back and look and see how I missed that.
Possible.
But anyway, I was listening to it twice today, and I'm just like, got the going through, and I'm just like, wait, this came out in 20 because I got to looking at it on Encyclopedia Metallum and getting all the info for the band or whatever.
Yeah.
Released in 2023. I was like, wait, what? And I'm like, hold on. I had to go back and looked on Spotify. I'm like, motherfucker, it was released in November of 23, like that, which is a damn shame because it was a damn good album. It probably would have been in contentions for the top 10, sure. So
are you still gonna review it, or what are we doing here? So because I don't even know what album it was.
I crammed another one in. I can still talk about that one.
Okay, well we can do that.
I'm talking about it. I can pull it up and go through it if I need to, but
that's fine.
But yeah, definitely was disappointed in a way.
Yeah.
Well, no, and what's so crazy is I'm like, you know what? This band's going through some shit right now, so I was just like, hey, you want to come on the show and talk about this album? Because I know y'all going through some shit. Y'all trying to get stuff together for a tour. Y'all are, they're missing a drummer right now, so they're trying to get a drummer for the tour, which I've shared on all of our metal cohorts.
Yeah. Okay.
Drummer. Because like they released that album, so they're actually trying to tour on it, which they can't because they don't have a drummer right now.
Yeah, and that's kind of important.
It is. Yeah, they're trying to get a drummer together to go, to at least do their tour.
Yeah.
They don't have to be a permanent member of the band. They just want to have somebody to go out and tour with them right now to try to promote the album. So I kind of hit them up like, hey, y'all want to come on a show and talk about all this stuff going on and, what y'all kind of looking for in it, or what y'all got coming up in the tour and,
like where you're going and all that other stuff. Yeah.
Kind of thing. But, so, they don't have a lot of followers on Spotify. They do have a lot more on Facebook, which is kind of understandable because I think more people probably I would say open their Facebook daily more than they would Spotify. This kind of thing.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. We give a quick shout out to my Aunt Amy. Aloha.
Yeah. Aloha. Oh,
I'm glad she remembered today is Friday. She sent me a message last night about 9:45. She's like, "You guys live today?" I was like, "No, this is Thursday." But in her defense, she had a 3-day weekend, so last night was technically her Friday. So I can see how she would have lost track of time. If I had a nickel for every time I forgot what day it was, I'd probably have at least a few bucks. So it happens.
I know you see we always talk about the stuff scrolling across the bottom of the screen, and I hate that I never have stuff to show you guys, but I actually did order something from our merch store, and it came in. I wanted to show you.
Wow, that was quick, actually.
Yeah, it came in about I'd say about 9 days it took, but yeah,
that's not bad.
But so a little tumbler there, so that's gonna take it to work for my coffee. So
that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I know that my mom and I do believe my aunt, she can back me up on this in the chat. I do believe that my mom and my aunt have coffee mugs. And, so when Amy,
that was the previous,
yeah, it was, but
that we never got money for, by the way. So
also true,
assholes.
But we've moved on from that. It is what it is. But
I'm just saying that's one of the reasons we moved on from that.
Yeah, that's true.
We weren't getting what we needed to get from that source. So.
Right. In a couple different areas for sure.
Right.
But
I think we've grown, and I want a t-shirt. Hey, it's coming. I promise you, Amy. It's coming.
Yep. Yep. We do know you want a shirt, Amy, size medium. I got you down. So, and a good evening to our good friend Dana.
It's medium.
A medium?
It might be, because you buy shirts, you never know what you're buying. So it could be a flawed medium.
This is true.
I'm just playing. My shit better
No,
be.
I've actually
shirts, they better be right.
I've actually had that happen before, so it's not unheard of for sure. But
yeah, but anyway, so hope so. It's like like I said, we got stuff out there. If you want to check it out, it's like I said, scrolling at the bottom there. It's I want a shirt 2 medium. Hey, Dana, they're
two mediums.
Yeah, I promise they are coming, and we will definitely get those out. I'm actually ordering that stuff as soon as my income tax clears. I'm going to order the print, the screen print, and the printer and the press machine and all that good stuff. So once I get that going, so I actually got a nice little spot clean out in the garage. Just slide right in there. So
Oh shit! There you go. Nice.
Just waiting on funds to clear so we can
Waiting on the government.
Yeah, moving forward. Yeah, which is crazy because you ever notice that if it tells you anything about how the government works, is like you go to the bank to like draw money out. And they're like, oh, that's not cleared yet. Like, what do you mean it's not cleared? It's it says it was released and it shows in my account that it's there. She goes, oh yeah, but it's still pending because I'm like, why is it pending? Well, we got to make sure it's good. Wait a minute, you got to make sure a government
right? Yeah.
What the? Oh man! So I wonder if Ukraine did that. Just
And Dana said you need a tube top.
I need a tube top. Yeah, I don't know if the world's ready for that. So, I can just take my T-shirt and tie it up in the front.
Yeah, Daisy Duke that thing. Hell yeah, man. It's not a bad idea.
I'm gonna do that at the next Metal and Tat show. So wear my Metal and Tat.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna grow my hair out so I can get a ponytail or a man bun going too. So.
Well, see, I can already do that. That I can do, and I've got a Metal and Tat shirt too. We'll both do it.
Which is bad because I probably stuck my foot in my mouth because Dana dare me now. So you fucking wrong. Which it probably would depend on if it's cold or not.
Well, it's going to be March, so hopefully it won't.
He said,
Dana's going to do it too. That'd be a great picture. The three of us doing that shit.
Yeah. Choose the little Daisy Duke thing and doing
it.
Yeah.
Doing the Charlie's Angels finger guns.
Yeah. There you go.
See, kids, Charlie's Angels was a sitcom.
It was not a movie that starred Kristen Stewart. I promise you.
No, it was not.
Which even that one was the horrible Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, it wasn't even good.
That's a good movie. You got to watch the Drew Barrymore, Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu.
And that one was even sketchy in parts.
Yeah. Second one for sure. So
yeah, but, Farrah Fawcett and Jacqueline Smith. Look it up. So
there you go. And have the
hair for pigtails. Yeah, you do. And the funny thing, well, I was gonna say you could like do pigtails in your beard, but I think you shaved that off the last time I saw you.
Yeah, he did. He
doesn't have that anymore. So
which I'm about ready to do for the summer, spring and summer. So.
Well, I trimmed my beard back, but that's about it. So
I'm about to go back to the 3-day shadow, goatee type thing. So
there you go.
It seems to, for some reason, that seems to work. I don't know. One reason is because all of my headshots look like that. So if I wind up catching something, I'll show up like this, and I'm like, yeah, that's not.
Yeah,
it's probably gonna make me shave it anyways.
Well, that's true. You might as well just go ahead and get it over.
You wind up with like a military or a police officer type role, and they usually make you do that. So.
Yep. You just go with the Farva mustache,
Yeah. Who wants a mustache?
The leader of cola.
Yeah. State trooper mustache.
That's right.
All right. I guess we will get this bad boy rolling this week.
Hell yeah.
Birthdays, like normal, from the
shenanigans. Oh.
From the 10th through the 16th, which is today. February 10th, we had Cliff Burton, bassist guitarist from Metallica, who unfortunately, as we all know, passed away in 1986. Then we had Vic Fuentes, a vocalist for Pierce the Veil. February 11th, we had Frederick Thorndahl, guitarist from Meshuggah. We had Varg Vikernes. I don't know how I pronounce his last name, but he was a Norwegian, pretty much black metal musician. And when they say musician, he was like everything as far as Burzum goes. I think in the beginning, anyway. And then he was with Mayhem as well, and he was also convicted of murder and arson, which probably is as crazy as that sounds. This probably is the most famous thing that he's known for.
Right? Yeah.
Being in two of the biggest, death metal bands, but you're known for convicted and arson. Not what you want to be known for.
Yeah, live the life a little too hard.
Yeah, right. Then we had February 11th. We also had Mike Shinoda, vocalist for Linkin Park. Clementine Delani, vocalist and lyricist for Visions of Atlantis and Exit Eden. Craig Jones, sampler keyboardist or ex-sampler keyboardist for Slipknot, I guess now. Then we had Dalton Keels, guitarist for As the City Sleeps. February 12th, we had Gil Moore, drummer and vocalist for Triumph. Byron Stroud, bassist for Fear Factory from 2003 to 2006, and then again from 2009 to 2012. Then he was also in Strapping Young Lad from 1996 to 2007. So, kind of busy guy.
Yeah.
Then we had Sin Quirin, a guitarist for Ministry from 07 to 08, and then again from 2012 to 2021. Also, that was one that I think Dana posted on Metal and Test. I didn't even realize the guy was a member of that. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Then February 13th, we had Derek Riggs. He's a British artist. He's better known for the Iron Maiden album covers. So definitely a damn good artist. Les Warner, drummer and producer for The Cult. Then we had Dave Padden, vocalist and guitarist for Annihilator and Terror Syndrome. We had Amish Glencross, guitarist from A Dying Bride. And then we had Henry Rollins, vocalist for Black Flag and, of course, the Rollins Band. February 14th, we had Roger Fisher, guitarist for Heart from 1967 to 1980. When I seen that, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of bands that have been around since the late 60s that don't get enough credit for being around in the 60s.
Right. I know.
Because, I mean, when I grew up, Heart and, Scorpions and all those bands were 70s bands, you know what I mean?
Journey, yeah.
Yeah, but they were actually around in the 60s. Late, but still, the 60s. Crazy. February 14th, we also had Liv Christine, vocalist for Leaves Eyes. Then we had Brian Slagle, founder and CEO of Metal Blade Records.
Yes.
Icon.
Hell yeah.
Many of Metal Blade Records cassettes in my cassette tape box out there. So. February 15th, we had Jakey Lee, guitarist for Badlands from 88 to 93. And then, of course, Ozzy Osbourne from 1982 to 1989. Then we had Mr. Lordy, singer or vocalist for Lordy. We had Brooks Wackerman, drummer for Bad Religion and Avenged Sevenfold. And then we had Kimberly Goss, vocalist for Synergy. Then February 16th, today, we have Pete Willis, a guitarist and songwriter for Def Leppard from 77 to 82. Probably the only guy that ever created a band and got kicked out of his own band. That was a crazy thing. All that happened, I was just like, wait, what? Then we had Kaio, vocalist and lyricist for Dirt and Gray. Then we had Dave Lombardo, drummer for Slayer, Dead Cross, Suicidal Tendencies, Mr. Bungle, Misfits, Empire State Bastard, Testament. I mean, how many other bands you want me to name here?
Right, yeah. Testament.
Yeah. And then we had Ice-T, vocalist for Body Counts. What was Jack Russell, Dana? Yeah, Jack Russell. Oh, there was somebody else too. I forgot. Damn it. I had a screenshot of it, and then I forgot to write it down on here. So, just a second. I don't want to forget anybody here.
Well, while he's doing, and while you're doing that, my brother's birthday was on the 13th. So happy birthday!
Birthday to Bob. So, it was Jason Zalistra from guitarist for Nonpoint. I think his was on the 14th as well, or 13th. Sorry. 13th.
Oh yeah, he's Jack Russell. He said he created Great White and got kicked out. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that's true. Yep. It doesn't happen a lot, but it has happened here and there. So
then we also have a happy birthday personal out goes to Victor Goretti from Rocket Heavy.
Hell yeah!
Happy birthday to Victor there.
Our good buddy.
Yeah, he's been a show friend for a while now. So
yes, he has.
Actually, as him and Dana both is going to have met both of those guys with that show. So.
Yep.
Happy birthday to all of those. Any of you had a birthday, happy birthday to you as well.
Absolutely.
All right, that should kick us into our news of the week.
Yep, and we thought we were gonna be able to make it through the week without having to report on anyone passing away, but come to find out that wasn't the case. So this one was more or less breaking news. Only found out about it this afternoon. Over at blabbermouth.net, longtime Helix drummer Greg Fritz Hines has died after a nearly year-long battle with cancer. He was 68 years old. Hines joined Helix in 1982 and stayed in the band until 1996 before returning to the group 13 years later. Earlier today, February 16th, of course, Helix frontman Brian Vollmer posted the following message on social media, quote, Greg Fritz Hines, January 23rd, 1956 to February 16th, 2024, RIP. It is with a heavy heart that I must announce the passing of Greg Fritz Hines, drummer of Helix since 1983 after a 10 months fighting cancer. At a future date, there will be a memorial service. Tracy, Fritz's common-law wife, hasn't slept in 6 months, so I'm going to give her a couple of days. She's been an angel throughout this whole ordeal. I don't know what Fritz would have done without her. Right now, I'm respecting her wishes. This is not up for debate. She cared for Fritz since he found out he had cancer last April. She has the right to do whatever and whenever she wants. Please do not contact Tracy. Give her her space and let her heal. When she wants to talk to everyone, she will. Fritz was like a brother to myself, Brent, Kenny, and many other people who worked for the band. Tracy has asked me to write something to post. I could go on for hours about the guy, but right now I'm devastated, as are the other guys in the band. We've known about this since last April, but were unable to tell anyone at Fritz's request. He wanted his privacy through this. He was a proud guy and tough as fuck. When he fell off the ladder a couple of years ago and nearly died, I thought that was the end there. Fritz surprised everyone by coming back less than 8 months later for gigs in Vancouver and Calgary in one weekend. This meant lots of driving and flying, something that's extremely bad for someone who has suffered a major concussion. He played great that weekend and didn't complain. Many months later, he told me that at the end of the Vancouver show at the Hard Rock, he nearly stood up and fell forward through his drums at the end of the show because he had vertigo so bad. Like I said, one tough guy. I met Fritz way back around the late 70s when he played for the Cambridge-based hard rock band Starchild. We both used to laugh over the fact that Fritz's big part on the Starchild record, Children of the Stars, was in the song Johnny Groover. The line in the song went, "Here comes Johnny Groover in his vet. He's got to get it wet," to which Fritz would then add a squirting sound. Fritz was the funniest guy you'd ever want to meet. We could be in the seriousest of situations, and he could say something and everyone would bust out laughing. He had that kind of personality everyone wanted to be around. Add to that his ability to attract scores of women at our gigs. Fritz was Helix's David Lee Roth. The most frequent question asked by girls outside the buses on the Quiet Riot Whitesnake tour in 1984 was, "Do you know where your drummer is?" As a result, Fritz was frequently in movies, as he called them. This meant that one of his relationships had gone sideways and was becoming a soap opera. The funny thing was that no matter how much he would piss off the girl, they would always forgive him, come back, and shower him with gifts. Fritz was the consummate rock drummer. It was his craft. He prided himself in his playing, and well he should have. He had a style all his own. Check out the bridge to the chorus in Heavy Metal Love. Such a simple lick playing on the off time, but Fritz learned that playing his first instrument, the accordion, in an oompah band. Over the next couple of days, I'll be putting up pics, as I'm sure hundreds of other people will, some video, and even Super 8. Here's the first batch of stuff I've found. There's so much. And then there's some other stuff you guys can take a look at. Fritz joined the band in 1983. This means that he's been in the band for over 40 years, with the exception of when he moved to Florida for a couple of years. The world has lost one of its great rock drummers. As I was telling Jamie on the phone the other day, the public has no idea the sacrifices that musicians make for their craft. You think of the music business as a fairly low-impact kind of job. In reality, you give up your personal life, your financial life, any type of regularity in your life, and not to mention the physical scars. I've yet to meet a drummer who hasn't ripped his rotator cuff. Guys with guitars and basses, ditto. We've stayed in the coldest rooms, the hottest rooms, gone without sleep, and made shit money, all for this thing called making music. Fritz definitely did that. He loved his drums, and he loved drumming and performing. He took great pride in everything he did. I'm going to miss him so much. My heart is breaking now. Gotta go. End quote. So. And as like we always say, fuck cancer.
Right. Yeah. Not news we want to share, but stuff we have to do nonetheless. It's crazy how they went into that story too, because we talk about segues on here, like, and then like this happens, and like that's what you're talking about, the sacrifices and stuff is going to segue straight into the story and I had no idea what any of that story said, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So my first one is over from Loudwire. Slipknot percussionist Clown has spoken about the agreement initially made with his wife about the band and the sacrifices that the family has continued to make to pursue his career. Quote, it's hard to talk about the sacrifice like my wife has put in, stated the musician while speaking with the breakdown with Nath and Johnny. We had an agreement, and the agreement was go ahead and do this thing you think you're going to do, whatever that is, and as long as it doesn't go backwards. Clown also added, for context, I was married 3 years before I started Slipknot. That was just about the beginning of a family situation for the musician, who also became a father before the band saw any amount of success. Quote, we start the band, and then a year or so after the band, we got pregnant and have our third child, and we have that child before we're signed. So we have 3 children, and it's a lot of work raising children, he recalls. I've been married now 5, 6, 7 years, 3 years before, and even 3 years before we even started the band. So everybody needs to kind of figure out about reality of what sacrifice really is, end quote. He explains. Slipknot's Clown reflects on his decisions. Yes, Slipknot have become one of the biggest bands in metal, but it's not always been peachy. Quote, first and foremost, I made a decision to take a pretty selfish path. I can say that, Clown says. We lost a child. When something as horrendous and unexplainable as that is, you look back on your path and you realize that the decisions you made, and it's not too hard to realize the ones that were bad decisions real quick. He explains that the hardest things to reflect on are when you don't get to say goodbye to someone or hello to someone again. End quote. In reflection to the journey through the highs and lows, he concludes, so moving forward through those sorts of thoughts, making agreements, saying goodbye to kids, Bess's leaving, these sorts of things, and promising my wife we would always make sure it was moving forward. And here, 25 years later, we're just relevant, and it hasn't stopped. It's pretty amazing, and I am blessed. So, yeah, so like you said, there's sacrifices you make, and it's kind of like if you look at just more recently the Kiko Lario story where he left a pretty successful band in Megadeth to go take care of his family. So I mean, that's kind of the sacrifices you have to make. Sometimes you got to make the sacrifice for the family at some point. But in Clown's defense, he didn't know his kid was going to pass away either. So, I mean,
well, that's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, Tom Araya did the same thing. I mean, that's why Slayer packed it in.
Yeah.
Because it's like, dude, I haven't been, my kids are damn near grown. So,
miss a lot of things, man.
Yeah. I mean, you can be disappointed that Slayer's gone. I mean, and we're disappointed that they're gone. And Kerry King was pissed. He was like, I'm still got a lot of music to make. And, thankfully he's making some, but Tom was like, man, I need to go be a dad. So, I mean, you can't be pissed at a guy who's like, I'm saying it's the same thing with, a lot of these pro athletes, same thing. They're on the road all the time.
Yeah.
Most of them are married. They have kids while they're still playing and stuff. And then, you're missing first words, first walk, all this other stuff. And then, so, it's a big thing.
And like I said, like I can relate to it because being in pro wrestling, like, I know I bring this up, I'm sorry, but it kind of relates, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you have to pick a side. I was married, had 2 kids before, when I broke into wrestling. So I already had a family. So it was either, okay, am I going to go on the road, for an unknown amount of time, or am I going to stay back here with my kids and my family and be needed? You know what I mean? So at some point you have to be like, is it worth it? Would it have been worth it? Who knows? We'll never know. I made a decision, so I'll never know the answer to that question.
Right.
But yeah. Like I said, it just, you make a decision. Like, do you want to go out on the road and do a European tour and leave your family behind? And I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, your family gets in a bad car wreck, or your mom has a heart attack. I mean, anything can happen while you're overseas, and then you have to like, okay, I can't just quit a tour. I mean, so it's kind of sucks that you like he said, you don't get to say goodbye, or something like that happens. I mean, it's stuff to think about, man. It's like,
and then on the flip side, your family's back home.
right.
You're driving or flying all over a foreign country or whatever, and we alluded to Cliff Burton having his birthday this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that they thought where they were on that tour bus going through Sweden, it's like, all right, we have a driver, we're on a bus, we got a guy, a professional driver who does this for a living. I bet they never thought what happened was going to happen. You never know, So I mean, they were over in Sweden, and I'm sure Cliff and Cliff's family, and of course all the guys in Metallica, all their families were like, they're over in Sweden. We have no idea what's going to happen. The unthinkable happened. You never know, man. Cliff was 24 when he died.
Yeah, and Dana actually said, yeah, same with truck drivers too. I mean, you don't think about that little stuff because you're not seeing those truck drivers in the spotlight of TV and videos and whatnot. So you don't think about even the most standard job. I don't mean it like that. I mean, it definitely takes a talent to drive a semi. Well, I don't know anymore. It used to, if you had to be able to switch 13 gears. So I don't know how difficult it is now. I think they're mostly automatic, most of them now. But
yeah.
Anyway, it's still a sacrifice you make.
It absolutely is. Yeah.
We don't. Luckily for me, I don't have much of a sacrifice because I'm only in the office 2 days a week. I'm at home 2 days a week. So so I mean, but I feel like I made those sacrifices. So. Dana said he's been gone for 2 months at a time. And yeah, I mean, my dad was a truck driver. I totally understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, my dad was the truck driver that had 4 families in 4 different states. I mean, that's a little bit different.
Well,
I laugh about it, but it's not that funny, really. But it's kind of fucked up. There's sacrifices you make in any job like that, especially journeyman jobs and oil rigs. And people don't even think about that. Like these guys on the oil rig spend, like a month on, a month off, or a month on and 2 weeks off, or whatever it is. I mean, they're gone for whatever amount of time it is. I can't remember exactly what it was because I actually dropped my funny story. I dropped my brother off to do that in Memphis, and he was supposed to catch a boat or somewhere to do the oil rig thing. I don't remember exactly where it was going, Louisiana. Maybe I can't remember, but hell, he down there beat me back home. He was like, I was at home for about 4 hours, and then my mom called and said, I thought you dropped him off in Memphis. I said, I did. I said, well, he's sitting in my living room. I'm like, I guess he didn't want to go. I guess he's like, nah, man, I ain't gonna be out there on the sea for months at a time. Like, screw that shit.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's so split decision. Like, he probably had a gut feeling to not go for some reason, so he did.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to do that. You got to just trust your gut or your heart. Something. You get a feeling or an inkling or a premonition or intuition, whatever the hell you want to call it. And it's just like, So I mean,
well, I mean, that's just like you look at, like I said, I talk pro wrestling because I know it. You look at pro wrestling, you get these contracts, and you're paid a certain amount of money, yes, but you're not guaranteed your hotel. You're not guaranteed rental car money. I mean, that's how you're fucking paid. I mean, a lot of guys, the top guys may get that treatment, but everybody's not a top guy. So all the top guys, I mean, you got to have that in your contract, or you don't get it. You don't get a personal assistant. You don't get you don't get all these things, until they probably say, hey man, your merch sales is like up 30%. So we may need to renegotiate your contract. Well, like a piece of that, please, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that had merch sales out the fucking yin yang back in the Attitude Era that wasn't getting what they deserved out of it because their contract was still on an old contract. So they had to wait to get a new contract to say, hey, I want 30% of this shit now, man. This 10% is working. I'm making you money. I want to make more money. And that's what it should be. I ain't gonna diss that at all. I mean, if you're making a company money like that, then you should be getting a bigger cut. I mean,
hell yeah, you should.
That's all fair.
Dana said, yeah, you don't get Paul Heyman.
Yeah, you don't get Paul Heyman.
No, you don't. No, you do not.
Well, the thing is, like, a lot of people don't understand in management like that. When you have a wrestling manager, they're usually there because the guy that he's with sucks on the microphone. I mean, if you look at hot dog and a handshake, John Wayne knows, but you know, you got people like Roman Reigns that wasn't that great on the mic when Paul Heyman joined him. I mean,
he still isn't that great on the mic even now. He's gotten better, but he's still not great.
You think Lesnar? Man, Lesnar was horrible on the microphone.
Oh yeah,
So I mean,
that's hell. Brock Lesnar was never.
Can we talk about him? I'm sorry. I mean, he kind of cut out of everything right now.
Yeah. Brock was not brought in to talk.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. Like, you have, you know, and I'm sure the Rock Band's the same way. If you're not a big time rock, Bobby Lashley. So yeah, he does. There's a lot of guys that suck on the microphone. Like me, I was great on the microphone, but I wasn't going through flaming tables and shit either. So. So you got to take one or the other. I'm not
right. Yeah.
But you know, I'm just saying, like, comparing that to the rock industry, you probably have that in the rock and metal industry too. Where if you're not a big band, you're not getting any of your stuff done by the record label. You know what I mean? So you're having to front that shit on your own.
Yeah.
You know, just like you know, we were talking to Dana earlier about some financial stuff with the tour. So I mean, that's kind of, you know, those are the things that you have to go through sometimes, and it's kind of like, okay, where am I going to get the money to do this now? Or because you're not, you know, unforeseen circumstances happen, and you know, we're not Motley Crue or Megadeth or Metallica. We're not those guys, so we can't just say, okay, well, we're just reschedule it. Don't worry about it. I mean, okay, you know, that as a band like, say, Halo Scars, since Dana know, you know, we all know those guys. It's like a band like Halo Scars that have to depend on that to put food on their table. So I mean, that's a whole different story when you talk about that. So
yeah, a lot of the bands we've interviewed, you know, talking about, you know, Eyes of the Living and Extinction AD and Vinnie Carrion and them and Ashes Rain, same thing. Yep. You know, we were talking to Eradicated last year. I mean, you know, we were talking to Elwin, and he was talking about he was in class and emailing venues trying to get a tour together while he was in class. I mean, you know, just pounding the pavement trying to get exposure for his band. So I mean
you have to, because you're not a band that makes money to hire somebody to do that for you.
Right.
So you have to do it yourself. I mean,
yeah, that's
just like, you know, when I was in smaller wrestling companies, the boys, as we call the boys, all of us went out and hung flyers for the show, because if we didn't, then
no one would know about it. Yeah,
I mean, we couldn't pay for a radio ad or anything like that. I mean, if there wasn't a flyer on a Coke machine at a store or something, then nobody would know. So. Anyway, we got off on a rant there, but
a little bit.
But I mean,
that's fine.
We're just trying to put the thing out there. Is we had two stories back to back to talk about the sacrifices these guys made.
Yep.
And you know, what's even worse is a lot of times it leads to infidelity. You know, things
drug
like
addiction.
Drug addiction. I mean, all those
alcoholism.
Things. Yeah. So I mean, it's rough, man. So like I said, man, people that do that. Let me tell you something. AJ Styles, I know this guy since he was probably 22, maybe in TNA, and like I watched this guy grow in the business, and like he's had kids this whole time. The whole time he's been around, he's had kids. Not as many as he does now, but he did have a couple when he first started. But you know, he was from Atlanta, Georgia. So I mean, you got two little kids. You're in Atlanta. Okay, do I travel around the world for, you know, this thing with two little babies, or, you know, what do I do? You know, and that's kind of why he stuck with TNA for so long, because it's in Nashville. He didn't have to go that far. He's back home on a regular basis. So he was smart in his approach to getting to WWE. His kids were practically grown now. So, I mean,
yeah,
you know, they can pretty much take care of themselves as far as eating and washing their own clothes and that kind of thing. So you don't have to like be there to babysit, you know, as much as he did back in the day. So he came in and honestly, if he came in then, he wouldn't have got the money he's making now either. So, you know, he's real smart.
Oh, well, yeah, true.
Making a name for himself on those scenes. So when WWE called, he'd be like, yeah, I'll come for this much money, you know,
Can write his own ticket now at this point.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people know. I think a lot of people try to jump into that WWE spot because take Drew McIntyre for instance. He jumped in there, young age, got shit canned after like 4 years or so. Went on to the indie circuit, made a big name for himself, won a couple world championships, came back to WWE and became a big star. Mm-hmm. So you don't think about those things when you're jumping into. That's the thing. Like 20-year-old kids don't have clues about those kind of things. That's why I hate fucking NFL. Because you're or college, you're even college kind of, now with the way they're doing things with football,
all this NIL shit,
yeah. So it's kind of like you can't give a 25-year-old kid $30 million fucking dollars, expect him not to be stupid. I mean, that's the thing. You're giving this guy money he's never seen in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they understand that. Like they want the guys to play. I get that, but you also need to. I don't know. So for somebody like that, I think you should say, "Hey, we're going to give you this amount of money, but you're also going to have this handler with you until he comes and reports and said, hey, he's good, man. He don't need me." Then that's cool. I think that's the way that should be, but that's just
yeah.
But yeah, so sacrifices are kind of like what we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
They're definitely out there for, and I'm sure everybody can relate to some sacrifices they made. Like I said, I was wrestling and working 2 jobs, putting my wife through college at the time. So I was never home.
Mm-hmm.
It sucked. I was just like that, and that's kind of why I made the decision I made because I'd already missed so much in a couple of years, and it was like I can't do this for 10 and 12 years, dude. There's no fucking way.
Right.
And
that's true.
Back when, like I said, back when I did it, we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have none of this shit. So I mean, it's kind of like we didn't have anything to put ourselves out there. So you mailed a VHS tape to a promoter in envelopes,
and hope that they saw it.
Hope they saw it. Hope they called you back. Like
right. Hope they didn't just chuck it in the trash. Like fuck it, and another tape from some kid. So
yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
I guess we better reel this thing back in. So.
Yeah, we probably should. We probably should. All right, moving over to the PRP for my next one here. A GoFundMe has been launched to help get Left to Suffer back on their feet after being struck by an alleged drunk driver just one day into their newly launched tour with Gideon and more over the weekend. According to Left to Suffer vocalist Taylor Barber, the individual in question swerved across 3 lanes of traffic directly into the side of our van and trailer and ripped our trailer off and flipped it. While the band were thankfully able to walk away without serious injury, the same can't be said for their van and trailer and potentially the contents of the latter. Vocalist Taylor Barber commented of that earlier on the 11th of February, quote, "Can't kill me and my team. We're getting the van fixed to try and at least make it to see y'all in Dallas. Don't know about playing yet due to unknown gear issues, but we want to come and support our package and get back into the groove. Thank you to everyone who showed us love," end quote. He also commented on the aforementioned crowdfunding campaign as well. One of our good friends, Josh Richards, who is TMing for Veil of Maya, made a GoFundMe for us. I've been messaged a lot about people wanting to donate due to the wreck. And speaking of that fundraiser, it is just a shade over $5,000 of their $5,000 goal. So they have met their goal, but as with a lot of these car accidents, $5,000 probably isn't going to cover everything, and depending on what damage is done to any of their gear, they probably could use some more. So if you have a little bit to spare, go over to GoFundMe and search for their fundraiser and donate what you can.
All right. My next one is real short here over at Blabbermouth. Super 7 has announced the first wave of its Motley Crue reaction figures, inspired by the band's second album, 1983's Shout at the Devil, and Crue's early makeup heavy look. The set features 3.75-inch versions of, brag about it, why don't you? Of Vince Neil, Nikki Sixx, Tommy Lee, and Nick Mars, big hair, makeup, and leather. Each articulated figure comes with an accessory. Vince with a microphone, Nikki with a bass guitar, Tommy with a pair of drumsticks, and with just a pair, not 3 drumsticks.
Yeah.
And a Mick with a guitar. I'm surprised they even put Mick in it at this point. That's crazy.
Right, I know.
Originally released in 1983 at the height of the Satanic Panic, Shout at the Devil catapulted Motley Crue to superstardom, delivering on the hype and promise of their platinum debut, Too Fast for Love. Motley Crue's second album hit the U.S. top 20 and was certified 4 times platinum. For many music fans, Shout at the Devil was the first time they witnessed an album with this imagery and lyrical content on mainstream retail shelves. Shout at the Devil continues to be a cornerstone of Motley Crue's live set, with the band playing up to 4 songs from the iconic album at every show of last year's world tour. Fittingly, the original touring cycle for this album saw Motley Crue jump from opening act to full-on arena headliners. So definitely an iconic album.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Pretty cool that they're making those figures. I ain't even to see what they cost. I'm kind of scared too.
Right. Definitely get your Mick Mars one now while you can.
Right. Yeah.
before they disappear.
And my wife's probably in the background going, "Don't you fucking buy no more shit."
Right. Yeah. She probably is. She's like, I dare you. I dare you.
Yeah. Well, it just gives her a reason to buy shit for her. Well, the bad thing is I do that. She's like one of those people that feels guilty buying shit for herself. I'm like, you work for your money. You do something for yourself. Like, what the, some people are just like that, I guess.
Yeah, some are. All right, my next one over at the PRP.com. This is a situation that could possibly get interesting moving forward. This was one of those we may not have heard the last of this story kind of things. Escuela Grind guitarist Tom Cifuentes announced earlier today that he will soon be replaced in the band after voicing his concerns over safety issues. According to Cifuentes, his concerns did not sit well with his bandmates. His statement reads as follows. Quote, these next 2 shows will be my last with Escuela Grind. I was informed I'm being replaced after bringing up some safety concerns. It was a fucking honor exerting every ounce of energy I had for you, all those shows. I was getting busy, not gonna lie. The greatest times, though, above all else, was meeting all of you. My new friends, you all pulled me in and sold me on this life again after many years away from heavy music. Until next time, you merfuggers, end quote. While the band are known for rowdy performances, vocalist Katarina Economou suffered a neck injury at a show earlier this year. It would seem that nature of Cifuentes' concerns were in relation to ear protection. A follow-up comment made by Cifuentes to a user on his post offered a bit more explanation of his concern. It reads, quote, I brought it up and tried to address how the other members didn't care my safety/hearing was jeopardized carelessly, and instead they wanted to make excuses for the other member. I was battled at every step for literally trying not to have it happen again. And in response, I was told I was whining and killing the vibe. Then was told we're looking for a replacement anyways. But that's it. Nothing crazy, no drama here. We probably just don't mesh. I'm stoked I got to play all these shows, end quote. So at some point we may hear like the other side of the story from, the rest of the band. I have a feeling, like I say, this is probably just maybe like the beginning of something, but who knows? But I mean, if one of the members in the band is like, hey, we need to do something so we don't go deaf, and they're like ignoring him, that's kind of stupid, really.
Yeah, that's how big we are on hearing too, so it's it's kind of like, that's kind of important. I mean,
it really is,
especially if you listen to clicks and stuff like that in your to get some time and shit down.
Right? Yeah.
You can't hear it, then it's the whole show sounds like shit, which means all of you sound like shit, not just him.
Yeah. Which means you could alienate a fan base, and that fan base could dwindle, and then you don't have a band anymore. So I mean, yeah.
All right, so this one over from Blabbermouth. Raven Drum Foundation, the organization formed by legendary drummer Rick Allen of Def Leppard and his wife, singer-songwriter and healing arts practitioner Lauren Monroe, has announced its first benefit concert taking place in New York City. On Thursday, March 14th at the Cutting Room, Allen and Monroe will perform a set of Monroe's original music, followed by an all-star jam including musical luminaries as Paul Schaefer and Will Lee, Peter Criss from Kiss, Jim Keltner from Ringo Starr, John Lennon, George Harrison, Eric Clapton, and the Wilburys. He pretty much been in all that old school stuff there. Eddie Brigatti from the Rascals, Liberty DeVito from Billy Joel. Like, there's a lot of different bands here, so not only metal, but Dwayne Trucks from Widespread Panic, Sean Pelton from Saturday Night Live, Corky Lane from Mountain, Christine Ullman from Saturday Night Live, Simon Kirk from Bad Company, and many more. Maria Melito of Q104.3 will MC the show, with musical direction from by the Raven Drum Foundation board member Billy Amendola. In addition to general admission tickets, VIP packages are available, allowing access to a reception, including an artist meet and greet, silent auction, light bites, and complimentary beverages. Items in the auction will include original mixed media art by Alan and Monroe, Def Leppard summer tour tickets and meet and greet packages, a fire helmet signed by actor Steve Buscemi, and other autographed memorabilia from the participating artists. For over 20 years, the Raven Foundation has striven to serve, educate, and empower trauma survivors and communities in crisis with a focus on veterans and first responders by integrating advocacy, storytelling, music, and arts programming events. The organization brings the tools and experiences of complementary and alternative medicine to support and inspire mental health, resiliency, and unity. At the March 14th benefit, Raven Drum Foundation will partner with Friends of Firefighters, a nonprofit established shortly after the events of September 11, 2001, to provide free, independent, and confidential mental health counseling and wellness services to active and retired FDNY firefighters and their families. Headquartered in a historic and restored firehouse in Red Hook, Brooklyn, demand for mental health services continued to increase. Last year, Friends of Firefighters supported New York's bravest through more than 4,500 counseling sessions, the highest number since the organization's inception over 20 years ago, and a 300% increase since 2018. Quote, Friends of Firefighter aligns with our mission by offering mental health support and access to alternative medicine to New York City firefighters at no cost, state Alan and Monroe. We're honored by our legendary artist community support for Raven Drum's first event at the Cutting Room. We're excited to play in New York, creating a fantastic night of music, strengthening our community bonds, and raising funds and awareness for this vital cause. For more than 20 years, Friends of Firefighters has helped New York City firefighters heal from the trauma of 9/11, Twin Parks, and other tragedies, both personal and professional. States Nancy Carbone, Executive Director of Friends of Firefighters. The demand for mental health related services has never been higher, and we are so grateful to partner with the Raven Drum Foundation to support New York City firefighters in their time of need, especially since they are always there for us, running into danger every day to keep us safe. In recent years, Raven Drum Foundation has increased its fundraising and awareness building efforts with both online and in-person events. For the past 3 years, the annual 12 Drummers Drumming Auction has presented a collection of one-of-a-kind memorabilia and experiences donated by superstars including Taylor Swift, Nikki Sixx, Chad Smith, Stuart Copeland, John Bon Jovi, Zach Hanson, Styx, and many more. In 2023, Alan and Monroe hosted several events, including one at Matt Sorum's Good Noise Studio in Palm Springs, California, and the multi-day Mountain Rhythm Reset in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. RDF also partnered with Chateau Diana Winery to release a special line of wines inspired by Monroe's songs and featuring artwork by the couple. March 14th marks Raven Drum Foundation's first benefit show in New York City and one of their first events of 2024, but it certainly won't be the last. RDF will host a drum circle and benefit for Northern California firefighters, first responders, and victims of the 2017 Tubbs fire, featuring a performance by Monroe and Allen, supported by legendary drummers Todd Suckerman of Styx, Alvin Taylor of George Harrison, L. John, all those things, and Wally Ingram from Shell Crow, Phil Lesh, Bob Wire, and Chateau Diana Winery in Pittsburgh, California on April 27th and 28th of 2024. So kind of month-to-month basis there. So, so it's good that they're able to do things cross country, kind of seems like, from New York all the way to California. So it's not just limited to one part of the United States.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So
it is. Yeah. When you can get a little bit more of a broader outreach. Yeah. It's kind of nice.
Hopefully good luck and they raise a bunch of money because, most of us lived through 9/11. So we kind of know what the tragedy those people went through just watching, just, pretty much in awe of what was going on. So,
yeah. All right, moving over to Metal Injection. Let's see. Yep, Metal Injection. In a recent interview on the Chuck Shoot podcast, renowned Greek artist or guitarist Gus G, known for his stint as Ozzy Osbourne's trusted axeman from 2009 to 2016, revealed a surprising moment in which he was approached by another heavyweight band. Asked if he was ever contacted about joining another well-known artist, Gus G disclosed that in early 2015, thrash metal titans Megadeth reached out to him. Despite his admiration for Megadeth, Gus G made the tough decision to stay loyal to Osbourne. Shortly after, Brazilian virtuoso Kiko Loureiro secured the spot in Megadeth, a move Gus G fully supported given their prior camaraderie from touring together. Quote, I had offers to, actually, I've never told that anybody, in the press at least. I've had offers to audition for other bands and stuff, not to join, but to audition. But I didn't do it. During my time with Ozzy, actually, Megadeth reached out in early 2015. I was still with Ozzy and they were looking for somebody. And I said, well, I can't really leave Ozzy for that, even though I'm a huge Megadeth fan. Back then, they were scouting guitar players, and then 2 weeks later, Kiko was in the band. And Kiko was a buddy of mine. We've known each other. His old band Angra and Firewind have toured together, so I knew him, and I thought he was a great fit, end quote. Gus G also disclosed that in 2019, Machine Head also extended an invitation for him to audition. Quote, and in 2019, who else? Machine Head asked me to audition once, end quote. However, Gus G expressed doubts about his suitability for the disposable hired gun role, preferring the autonomy of steering his own musical journey. He acknowledged the inherent risks involved in pursuing one's own ventures, citing financial uncertainties and the constant pressure to prove oneself in a competitive landscape. Quote, I'm not sure if I'm really made for being like a hired gun kind of guy. I'm enjoying calling my own shots, I guess. It's two different worlds doing those things. I mean, doing your own thing, of course, involves a lot of risk. Financial, of course, because you don't know if things will work out. You have to put tours together and you have to front your own capital to do things to get things going. And you don't know if it's going to work out, if people are going to like it. So it's just very competitive, of course, out there, especially nowadays. And then, of course, being a hired gun for a band, you don't have to worry about any of that. But, of course, you're also disposable, end quote. So that is true. There's pros and cons to each. I know that Gus G is probably he's probably not really exactly a household name as far as heavy metal guitarist goes. I mean, I'm familiar with Firewind, so I know of him. And then, he, like I say, he was with Ozzy for a while. So, but I'd say he's definitely an underrated, underappreciated guitar player in the grand scheme of things. The two bands, I probably could have seen him playing for Megadeth. I don't know if he would have been as much of a fit for Machine Head, but I think he could have. I think he definitely could have done well in Megadeth. But I totally understand why he stayed with Ozzy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, out of those bands, I would have to agree. Yeah, because I mean, if you think Megadeth and Ozzy and all those type of bands have been kind of parallel in the 80s and 90s. So
yeah.
All right. Yeah. This is my last one over from Metal Sucks. In a recent post on social media, melodic death metal band Insomnium addressed a seemingly strange situation where longtime guitarist and vocalist Yanni, I'm going to kill this name,
Lima Tynan.
Okay, gotcha. Had been missing from the band, as in he hadn't been heard from for a long time, and how they're forced to move on without him as a four-piece. According to the statement, what did you say? Lima Tynan.
Lima Tynan.
Gotcha. I know I'm probably going to ask you again, but
that's fine.
Ghosted his bandmates despite attempts to reach him. Insomnium, as a band, said Lima Tynan. Nowhere to be found. A quick look at his social media account shows that the dude's been inactive for at least a couple of months. Rather than paraphrase what they said, here's the band's explanation for how things went down. Quote, many of you have been asking where Yanni is and why there has been no update about his status with the band. The answer is really simple. For a long time, we didn't know where he was, and we could not reach him by any means. The reason why we did not address the situation publicly was that we hadn't given up hope yet. Obviously, Yanni has been a close friend and much valued member of this band for years. We wanted to allow him to either solve the situation or at least provide a statement to his fans. Sadly, it is now evident that Yanni and the rest of Insomnium have different priorities. We have hence agreed to go separate ways, and Insomnium will continue as a four-piece unit from here on out. This will not affect any of the forthcoming live shows. Ville A. Freeman will be joining for the finished shows. Brandon Ellis from the Black Dahlia Murder and Nick Cordell from Omnium Gatherum have agreed to fill in and the second guitar during the forthcoming North American tour. We wish Yanni all the best in the future and would like to thank him for his past years he's been with Insomnia. End quote. While it's great that the band will be able to continue without Yanni, thanks to Freeman Ellis and Cordell stepping up for Insomnia's upcoming live shows, it still bears repeating that this is such a weird story to come out of seemingly nowhere. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that one because I'd love to hear a rebuttal from Yanni, honestly.
Or hell, I would like to at least know that he's okay, for crying out loud.
Well, that's true too. I mean,
because I saw that story too, and I was like, holy shit! Because I was reading, it's like he just no one knows where he is.
Yeah, he just took off. Man.
Yeah, so, I mean, so I just hope he's okay first and foremost, and then
I'll mark this and try to look into maybe some other stories somewhere to see if there's been anything.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know it, but I saw it that story came out today, so that was another kind of late one too. So, but yeah, I saw it and I was like, that's really, really strange. So
I'll write follow up on it. That's all I have to remind me to look into it a little more. So
yeah, I mean,
later on or something. So.
Yeah, I mean, if Yanni just comes out and goes, "Hey, I'm over here, I'm okay," and then, okay, you're okay. What the hell, I mean? So I mean,
yeah. Dana, thanks for stopping in, man.
Yeah, bud.
Always a pleasure.
Always. All right, my last one, going back over to Blabbermouth. This is kind of a fun one for all you science, biology kind of people. According to reptilesmagazine.com, a new lizard species has been named after Iron Maiden singer Bruce Dickinson. Named Enyaliotes dickinsoni. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that in this story. The lizard was found in the Cordillera de Colon mountain range, 460 miles north of Lima, Peru. 3 localities are known to be home to this lizard species. Its habitat includes coffee crops, cacao, and citrus, as well as cow pastures, and mountainous forests and elevations from 4,600 to 5,600 feet. According to Latin American Post, the naming of Enyaliotes dickinsoni in honor of Bruce Dickinson is, quote, a testament to the enduring influence of cultural figures on scientific discovery. It's a reminder of the interconnectedness of our world, where the legacy of a heavy metal icon can extend into the realms of environmental conservation and scientific research. This discovery not only enriches our understanding of the biodiversity of the Amazon, but also celebrates the multifaceted contributions of individuals like Dickinson to global culture and awareness, end quote. For more information, visit Bio1 at bio1.org. This is not the first time a species has been named after the Iron Maiden singer. Back in 2019, Brazilian biologist Christina Rhymes discovered 4 new huntsman spider species and named them after some of her favorite musicians, among them Dickinson. Extraordinarius Bruce Dickinsoni can be found in Central and South America, and it belongs to a spider genus also discovered by Rhymes, who happens to be a heavy metal fan. Scientists have been naming species in honor of celebrities since the 18th century. According to The Conservation, the father of taxonomy, Carl Linnaeus, coined names to curry the favor and open the purses of rich patrons. So, there are plenty of other animals, plants, and other fascinating bits of nature named after rock and metal musicians, including those named after Lemmy, Dave Mustaine, Metallica, Freddie Mercury, and Sepultura. And then at the bottom of the story at blabbermouth.net, there is a picture of said reptile. So there you go. And they have a side-by-side of the reptile and Bruce Dickinson. They don't look anything alike, so just in case you're wondering.
Don't like Eddie either. So.
No. So that was my last one too. So
all right. Other headlines here. We have Ozzy Osbourne is the only metal artist nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class of 2024, and way fucking overdue in my opinion.
Yeah, way overdue.
Phil Demmel, sorry, I don't know. What's wrong with you, Mike? No, lack of sleep. That's what's wrong.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Phil Demmel on joining Kerry King's band. Quote, that was 4.5 years of holding on to the secret.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, 4.5. Jesus Christ. Dude, I'm telling you now. In acting, we have to hold on to stuff like that sometimes, and 6 months was killing me. So
I bet it was.
I was like, hell, I got a project I did back last year that's not coming out till later this year. So
wow.
I can't even talk about it because it's like, which I mean, I could, but because I didn't sign a contract with those people, so I really could talk about it if I wanted to, but I'm not like that. So that's kind of
well, yeah, it's just being
it's just being respectful. I mean, that's the thing is like if you got to me, I feel like if you got somebody out there that's done that without having to sign an agreement, then that's somebody I would want to hire on a regular basis. You know what I mean? So I kind of look at it that way. Like I always try to be an employee that I would hire. You know what I mean? So I guess that makes sense. So.
It does make sense. Yeah, absolutely does.
All right, carrying on here. Ex Morbid Angels David Vincent on unintelligible death metal vocalist. If you have something to say but you can't understand it, then why say it? Oh man, that's kind of a punch to the genre in my opinion, but whatever. That's your opinion, guy. I kind of can relate, but I'm not going to go out and knock people.
Yeah,
you like it. I mean, because it's like that's what makes metal so great. Is like there's so many different aspects of metal that you're not going to like it all. I mean, honestly,
yeah,
you're going to find stuff you don't like.
That's sure, and that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, if you think about like death metal was fucking, especially overseas, it's fucking huge. Man.
It's huge over there.
Yeah, you can't. You know, I don't get a lot of it either. And like I said, a lot of it's not really the vocals for me. It's more of the drumming. You know, the ting 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 stuff. What gets on my nerves more than anything. But and I've said that numerous times. It's not some of the vocals are hard to understand. I get that. You know, I get what he's saying, but I don't know.
I do understand his point because I mean, because there is a lot of it where you're like, yeah, I don't have any chance in hell. Yeah, I have no chance in hell of understanding what this guy's saying.
What's so crazy is instrumentally it's great.
Yeah.
Like, you know, why don't it be if you have that issue, I just make an instrumental album or something.
Yeah, I mean you could. You definitely could. So I mean I get where he's coming from. I mean it's but
again, it's like he's saying though, if you have a point to come across, then nobody can understand it, then are you really getting the point across? I guess is kind of what he's saying. And
I mean,
if you're just doing it to make noises, then yeah, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to make a point to something, that's probably not the best genre to try to make points.
Right.
Which normally that genre is all about death and I don't think you're going to get too many political songs out of a death metal band.
Not really. Anyway,
next up, Burzum now sells a shirt of Kanye West wearing a Burzum shirt.
Yep, I saw that. I saw that.
Amy says, I don't like the screaming or throat clearing type of metal. It gives me a headache.
Yeah, and that's fine. And there's I mean, there are bands that we've talked about on this show before that we're just not fans of. I've made no bones about not being a fan of Led Zeppelin. Don't really like Tool. I've never been the biggest Kiss fan. So I mean, it doesn't really matter the specific bands you like or don't like. I mean, we're all a part of this. And it's Jason, it kind of like relates to something you posted, in the Facebook group earlier. I mean, you get these people, you get these people who want to just nitpick other people for, oh, you like that band? God, they're terrible.
Yeah.
If you don't like them, don't listen. That's fine.
Well,
Don't shame other people.
A perfect example of that is neither one of us are Tool fans, but
right.
You can't knock what they've done. I mean,
and I don't.
They're multi-platinum records, probably gold record in there, I'm sure somewhere. I mean, they've been around for a long time. You don't do this for 30 years and not be, not have a fan base.
Right.
I mean, there's no looking way you survive.
Yeah, you don't have a multi-decade career in anything without being good at it.
And you can't sit at home for 13 years and not make an album if you're not good. So
that's true.
Living off of the past.
Yeah. I just and the funny thing is there a lot of stuff on. There's a lot of stuff because we have our group and there's metal and tats, there's rock and heavy, and there's a couple other heavy metal groups I'm involved in, and the big thing right now seems to be like posting memes and stuff making fun of Metallica. And that's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem. I mean, I've seen some that I've laughed at because they're funny. Because I can take a joke. I can take a joke. I can laugh at anything that's funny. So it's just weird that a band that's turned their 40+ year career into a $1 billion empire, and just the fashionable thing here lately seems to be to just shit on Metallica. So I mean, but I'm not telling everybody they have to like Metallica at the same time, because they don't.
Right.
They don't.
Amy says she likes Sepsis though.
Oh, there you go.
Friends of the show there.
Yeah, there you go.
Jeff Stewart says, whoop, whoop. Hey, what's up, man? Actually, that's Jeff. I actually went to high school with Jeff. So
oh, there you go.
Well, actually, we grew up in the same neighborhood, so
nice.
It's pretty cool to see him in the chat.
Welcome.
All right, just
what you got going on?
my damn headphones in that in the equalizer actually.
Oh, okay, all right.
I don't know why it does that. It's like, I guess because it goes around and it's kind of pinched a little bit. So
oh yeah, that can happen sometimes.
Doesn't get a good thing. Of course, I have to have a adapter too, because I got a damn amp plug to go into my laptop, which don't work. All right, moving on. Kitty signs to Sumerian Records, streams their first song in 13 years.
Which was
it's a banger too.
So good. Oh my god, that song is so good.
Looking forward to that album. So.
Yeah. Oh man. In case you haven't heard it, the name of the single is "Eyed Wise Open." Yeah. Eyes wide open. What the hell did I just say? Eyes wide open.
We're both on that shit tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell I just said that first. It's eyes wide open. But anyway, it came out. It came out, I think, Tuesday. I think it came out on Tuesday.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so good.
And there is the link to our current playlist, which it is on. So
yes,
if you want to check that out, I'll leave that up there for a few minutes. Another Kanye West story. He cut that Black Sabbath sample from his song in response to Ozzy like a weirdo. Of course, would you expect anything less from that guy? He is a weirdo. So, Sean Clown Crahan reveals Joy Jordison was not a founding member of Slipknot. Because we have seen stories where, and I think I mentioned that when we seen that one story a while back. I said he was. So like, I don't think that's correct. And I think we both said that on the show.
Yeah.
I'm glad Sean cleared that up for us. So.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who don't realize that Corey Taylor wasn't in.
Yeah, he wasn't the original. He wasn't even the original. He would. Yeah. So, which is crazy because they needed somebody that was a little less guttural to fill in that spot. Which is sometimes you listen to Slipknot and you're like, what? Like, how guttural was that guy?
Well,
he was pretty death metal vocalist, I guess. So
yeah. Well, I mean, if you've ever listened to Eat, Mate, Kill, Repeat, I mean, there is a definite difference between Anders Kolseth's vocals and Corey Taylor's. So I can see kind of. I can kind of see if that was their goal. I can see why they kind of went that way. So,
well, I mean, they weren't going to get any media or airplay, with that guy for sure. So,
yeah, and that's no slight against Anders. It's just that's the way mainstream radio is. I mean, it's just how it is. Yeah, it is unfortunate, but that's just how it is.
Sleep Token have entered a new era with RCA record deal, so we'll see how that. May or may not change their sound, because you know how that goes.
Yeah.
So hopefully not too much, because they have a pretty large fan base. So.
They really do.
Dave Mustaine says Timu Montessori is the right guy for Megadeth. So good to hear him say that. So.
Of course, Dave is. I love Megadeth, of course, and I am actually a big fan of Dave, But when Chris Broderick came in, Chris Broderick was the right guy. When Kiko came
Everybody
in,
was the right
Kiko
guy.
was the right guy. So I mean, I've got no reason not to trust Dave Mustaine. Like I said, he's been doing this for 40 years too. But
Right.
and every new guitar.
Well, I mean, he's not going to bring anybody that's not going to compliment him well either. So
Of course,
that would just make him sound like shit. So
yeah. And it's well documented how much of and even he will admit of how much of a control freak he is. So
right. I mean, it's your baby, it's your band.
Yeah.
I may come off like that sometimes with this thing, but
yeah.
I try not to. But
no, dude, we've been in this together for 4 years now. I've never felt that way. So
yeah. Well, I mean, usually when I say anything about the thing, I say us, even though it was, I don't know, it was kind of like my thought process and everything to go into doing this. But I always say we and us because I mean we're a team in this thing. So I mean it's kind of like. But anyway, and I think I think if you're in a band, that kind of ego can hurt you. I mean,
it can.
A lot of people don't want
Absolutely
to play with you if they don't feel included, I guess. So.
Well, if you remember back to that story we were talking about where Kerry King played a few shows with them, and Kerry King was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to be able to work with that guy." and that was back in the '80s, man.
Yeah, before, yeah.
So yeah, that was way back before Megadeth actually technically really even made. So even back then, Kerry King was like, "Yeah, I got to tap out."
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why he got kicked out of Metallica because he couldn't. Well, that was because they were two different kinds of drunks.
That is true. That's exactly.
Dave's a violent drunk, and they're all playful
party
drunks. He didn't like that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, carrying on here. Nickelback documentary "Hate to Love" hitting the theaters in March. So, actually, you know what? I'm probably going to if it's available here. I'll probably go watch it.
I might
just to see.
I might
just to hear what what they went through, like. Personally, mentally, whatever, with all the hate that they got for whatever reason,
for no reason, really. not.
D. Snyder says something is lost when bands rely too heavily on backing tracks during live shows. We've talked about this, and I do feel like if I see a live show, I want it to be live. You know what I mean?
As live as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Just I still remember the late 70s. But yes, I mean, if you're doing something live, you want it to be kind of raw and real. You know what I mean? You don't want to, I guess like the thing is like we went to shows a lot and we like, oh man, they sounded, because I went to a lot of shows and be like, man, that sounded just like the record. That's how good it was. But you knew it wasn't recorded. I mean, you knew it was them singing. I mean, it wasn't like. It wasn't perfectly like the record, but I mean, it sounded like the record, it sounded like the record. But you'll hear a lot of times going, man, that sounded like shit. Like
sometimes,
I've probably seen in this moment a dozen times, and I have seen them a couple times where I'm just like, what the fuck was that? I was like, just an off night, sound guy. I have no idea, but there's definitely been some times where I'm just like, and just because of that, I don't make my way down to see it. Of course, like I said, I've seen them so many times. I'm all about trying to see new bands and new things. And anyway, Keith St. John exits Kingdom Come, band to carry on with the new singer and drummer. That's kind of unexpected too. I didn't really read the story on why, but this next one says Tool fans won't have to wait 13 years for a follow-up to Fear and Inoculum. Mainly because Danny said he was 62 and he's not waiting. He'd be 75 when it comes.
Hell, Maynard just turned 60. So I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like they're in their 60s, they can't be bullshitting too much anymore. So,
no, you got to shit or get off the pot, man.
Right. New Merciful Fate music is on the way, says bassist Becky Baldwin. That's pretty cool. Dave Mustaine shoots down rumor Marty Friedman will play with Megadeth in Argentina. He said that's not going to happen. And I'm wondering if that's kind of where the other headline came from, because they shot that idea and he's just like, no, Timu's the guy. So, I wonder if those were kind of.
Well, I don't know if
feeding off each other.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure the two are related, because I mean, even when Marty showed up when he did. He was only out there for I think like 3 songs at
Yeah.
most. So I mean, he like wasn't there the whole time. He just showed up in as like a guest and played for a few songs. So I'm not 100% sure the two of those are related.
All right. Daughtry scores their first #1 at Active Rock with Artificial. So congrats to them. So that's crazy. They've been around that long and just now scoring their first #1. That's wild. Especially in a time that they came out with you know, the Nickelbacks and those sorts of bands that had the hard rock and ballady type stuff on all their albums. So it's kind of odd that they just not scoring their first #1. But
yeah. I mean, like Nickelback being one of those.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
Ex-great white singer Jack Russell reflects on fatal nightclub fire. I wish I could go back and just cancel that show altogether. I'm sure you do.
Well, yeah, I bet you do. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure, man, like I said, like you go through an event like that, he's got to have some PTSD from that. I mean, knowing that some of their fans, you know, lost their lives, and I was kind of wondering why that came up. I need to look and see if there's like the anniversary. I thought it was in January, wasn't it?
I honestly don't remember. I really don't.
Seemed like I thought that was like January, so I'll look it up and make sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, I guarantee you that's got to be still to this day has got to be a recurring nightmare. It's got to be.
Anything like that happen. I mean, just like the people that were at Dimebag Darrell's show where he got shot. I mean, the survivors are probably just still, you know, shook up by all that shit.
Well, especially that stagehand who got shot 4 or 5 times and lived. I guarantee you that guy's still going through that shit.
Oh man. Breaking Benjamin says they have songs that are finished for their next studio album, so that may be something to look forward to this year, maybe early next year.
Yeah.
Halloween announced that they will release their new album in 2025. That's crazy. We're only in February of this year. We're already talking about 2025.
I know, it's crazy. Well, hell, I saw something where Dave says he's already starting to write the follow-up to The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead. So he's already starting to write the next Megadeth album.
Way to just kill my next line, dude.
Oh shit, sorry.
It actually was Dave Mustaine's preparing to start writing next Megadeth album.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I still have the mojo in my hands, is what he said. So maybe you need to drop your mojo and start playing guitar.
Right. Yeah. Well, we know the nickname for Dave Mustaine's penis now.
That's right. And then last, Mick Mars already has 4 massively thick ideas for his second solo album. It's going to hit hard. So, I mean, that's crazy. He just had an album out, and now he's already talking about the next one, which is pretty wild. So,
well, I mean, you know, hell, a lot of these guys are they've been doing this so long. They're just constantly just pumping out material. They've always got ideas. So I mean, never a bad thing. That's for sure. Especially for us as the, you know, fans and podcasters and everything else. You
know. Oh no, actually, it happened on February 20th, 2003. So it's coming up.
Oh, it's coming up. The anniversary's this week. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I was wondering why it kind of came up. I said, well, that has to be the anniversary's got to be around the corner for them to bring that up. So
yeah, kind of like relatively soon we'll start hearing about the bat biting thing with Ozzy, even though it's 40 some odd years ago. You know, the anniversary that rolls around. You know, there's always some story talking about it. It's like even though it's been talked to death. So you know. But, you know, it's one of those things like Randy Rhoads' airplane crash and, you know, the bus crash that killed Cliff Burton. Same thing. You know, every year those are monumental things. Those are, I mean, those are definitely events like Randy Rhoads, especially with Randy Rhoads and Cliff Burton. Those are moments that altered the landscape of heavy metal. Like,
and I honestly don't remember like the Randy Rhoads thing being like a topic when I was growing up, but I do remember like MTV News coming across with you know, Cliff Burton you know, dying in the crash and stuff. I was like, oh wow, that's, you know, so that was kind of a thing. But yeah, a lot of that stuff we remember where we were and what we were doing when that stuff happened.
Right.
And, so it's, Did you have anything else other than that, or?
Well, I did. The only other thing I can think of is Amorphous is going into the studio towards the end of this year, and they will have a new producer. So they're going to be, they have a new producer. They're going to be making new music. No word on when the album is going to come out, but I figure if they're in the studio late 24, I figure at the earliest maybe fall of 25. So I don't know. We've got plenty of time for that. So, but that's my best guess.
Just looked at this and did you give me the full? No, it didn't. Anyway, we're going into Hitting the Road. I had a story for Hitting the Road, and then I had one announcement that I was going to talk about. There was actually a pretty good bit of concerts announced this week.
Yeah, it was a busier week this week.
But Welsh Festival Steelhouse have confirmed the final acts for this year's event. German metal legends Accept will be the special guest on the Saturday, while
nice.
hotly tipped Mexican sister act The Warning are scheduled to perform as well. Rounding off the additions are shot rockers south of Salem and rousing Australian star Cassidy Paris, who debut album New Sensation was released last year. Here we are, the final four of 2024. Advise festival organizers Max and Mikey. This announcement really does put the steel in Steelhouse, Accept as a band that helped define a genre. Their influence cannot be overstated. Metal Heart, Restless and Wild, Balls to the Wall. These are true metal anthems. To have them grace the Steelhouse stage is an honor. And as well as the legendary, we are pleased to add another set of new names into the mix. The Warning are so exciting. Their rise has been meteoric. We hope they'll bring some Monterey sunshine too. The amount of UK rock fans listening, looking, and talking about the South of Salem at the moment speak for itself, and Cassidy Paris shows how classic rock is resonating with another new generation. You can't stop rock and roll. Come join us at Steelhouse for 3 days of it at the end of July. Acts previously announced for the 2024 which will take place in its traditional home of Hafod Wad Fall Farm in Wales over the weekend of July 26th to the 28th. They include Mobo Award winners Skindred, The Almighty, Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons, The Last International, The Commoners, Jared James Nichols, James and Nicole Gunn, Creeping Gene, and Zach and the New Men. The festival also paid tribute to the late Bernie Marsden on its opening night with an event dubbed Bernie Fest. This will be headlined by Bernie Fest All-Stars, led by FM guitarist Jim Kirkpatrick and former Skin and present Hand of Dance frontman Nev McDonald. Also paying tribute will be King, Els Bailey, Ollie Brown and the Dead Collective, and the Zach Schultz Gang. So another festival announced. So there's that. And then another one just started. So I've seen where they had started announcing some bands for another festival already. So that'd be once that's concrete, I'll share that. I usually don't like sharing them until it's concrete. We know everybody that's there. So
right, yeah,
because it's going to be a continuing story every week if I don't. So
yeah, I think they missed an opportunity to call that one festival Weekend at Bernie's, but I'm just saying.
yeah, right, yeah. That would have been hilarious. Yeah. And then the only other concert I had was In This Moment announces a U.S. tour with Kim Jackala and Mike's Dead, and then the first I think it was like the first 4 or 5 shows had Motionless in White there as well, but it was only the first 4 or 5. That kicks off on April 28th at the City National Grove in Anaheim, California, and ends on May 25th at Wind Creek Event Center in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and they will be at Marathon Music Works in Nashville on May 20th. So,
yep, yes they will.
That was all that I had for Hitting the Road. I know there was a lot of other stuff coming out, but I was doing the story, and I said, if I'm doing that story, I'm not going to go and put 3 or 4 things and get myself winded. So
that's fine. That's fine. That's totally fine. So my contribution for Hitting the Road this week for the week of the 10th through the 16th, starting off at theprp.com as always. Left to Suffer and Waste will be going out starting April 25th in Des Moines, Iowa at Lefties, finishing May 3rd in Evansville, Indiana at Stage 321. We have Avatar, the Oxymorons, and Conquer Divide going on a U.S. tour starting May 8th in Indianapolis, Indiana at the Egyptian Room, finishing May 19th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Milwaukee Metal Fest. AC/DC has announced their European and UK tour starting May 17th in Gelsenkirchen, Germany at the Veltins Arena, finishing August 17th in Dublin, Ireland at Croke Park. Set It Off, Crown the Empire, Caskets, and Death by Romy are going to be going out starting March 13th in Orlando, Florida at the House of Blues, finishing April 30th in Columbus, Ohio at the Bluestone. They will be in Nashville on April 29th at Brooklyn Bowl. Crown the Empire has announced a trio of East Coast shows, bookending their tour with Set It Off. The first two shows are March 12th in Pensacola, Florida at Vinyl Music Hall, March 14th in Jacksonville, Florida at Underbelly, and then the show taking place after the tour, May 2nd in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania at Love Drafts. Cognitive and Trench Lung are going on a North American tour, just a short one, starting March 28th in Brooklyn, New York at the Mona Lisa, finishing April 5th in Corning, New York at the Marconi Lodge. Party Cannon and Cognitive will then be going to Europe with Party Cannon starting May 3rd in Hamburg, Germany at Bambi Galore, finishing May 18th in Arnhem, Netherlands at Wilhelmine. Baby Metal and Death Clock have announced a couple of San Francisco shows. April 24th and 25th at the Masonic. Dragon Force will be opening on the 24th, and Necro Goblin will be opening on the 25th. Spy, Destiny Bond, Combust, and Jive Bomb going around the United States, starting May 3rd in Portland, Maine at the Cavern, featuring Combust, finishing May 18th in Springfield, Illinois at Dumb Records. Have Heart have announced some reunion shows, a quintet of reunion shows. June 2nd in Detroit at Tied Down Fest. June 29th in Manchester, England at the Outbreak Fest. July 14th in Los Angeles at the Sound and Fury. July 19th in Brooklyn, New York at the Monarch, featuring Speed, Magnitude, Restraining Order, Move, and Ankle Biter. And July 20th in Boston at the Roadrunner, featuring Speed, Gel, Initiate, Eye for an Eye, and Wound Man. Hannibal, Left to Suffer, and Outline in Color are going on a North American tour starting May 17th in New Haven, Connecticut at Toad's Place, finishing May 31st in Sacramento, California at the Ace of Spades. 1349, Spectral Wound, Antichrist, Siege Machine, and Spirit Possession are going on a North American tour starting May 20th in Toronto, Ontario at Lee's Place, finishing May 30th in Grand Rapids, Michigan at Pyramid Scheme. Boundaries, Orthodox, Keonashi, and No Cure are going on a U.S. tour starting May 8th in Cambridge, Massachusetts at the Middle East, finishing June 8th in Hartford, Connecticut at Webster Underground. Periphery and Idola going on a North American tour starting May 8th in Asheville, North Carolina, at the Orange Peel, finishing May 18th in New York at the New York at the Palladium Times Square. They will be in Nashville on May 13th at Marathon Music Works. The Plot and You and Invent Animate are going on a European and UK tour, starting September 6th in London, England at the O2 Islington Academy, finishing September 15th in Cologne, Germany at Canteen. Fit for a King, Chelsea Grin, and Kingdom of Giants are going on a U.S. tour starting April 5th in Grand Junction, Colorado at the Mesa Theater, finishing May 2nd in Destin, Florida at Club LA. Amon Ra, Primitive Man, and Slow Crush going on a North American tour starting May 3rd in San Diego, California at Brick by Brick, finishing May 18th in Austin, Texas at the Empire Garage. Pig Destroyer has announced a quartet of East Coast shows. April 18th in Bensalem, Pennsylvania at Broken Goblet. April 19th in Baltimore at the Auto Bar. April 20th in New York at the Harbor Lights. And April 21st in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania at Love Drafts Brewing Company. Oceano has announced 3 15th anniversary shows for their Depths album with By the Thousands as opener. April 5th in Iowa City at Wildwood. April 6th in Chicago at Reggie's. And April 7th in Detroit at the Sanctuary. Will Haven has announced 3 East Coast shows. Stone Cold Steve Austin Day is Sacramento, California at Red Museum featuring Renewer and Pastoral. April 12th in Baltimore, Maryland at the Auto Bar featuring Burial Waves and Polar View. And April 14th in Brooklyn, New York at St. Vitus featuring Thought Crimes, False Gods, Burial Waves, and Court Order. And moving over to blabbermouth.net, Helmet and Crow Mags are going on a North American tour starting April 14th in Detroit at the Magic Stick, finishing May 19th in Columbus, Ohio at Sonic Temple. They will be at Exit Inn in Nashville on May 7th. Symphony X and Heathen are going on a North American tour starting May 16th in Cincinnati, Ohio at Bogarts, finishing June 8th in Baltimore, Maryland at the Baltimore Soundstage. And then over at metalsucks.net, we have Mall, Primitive Rage, and Dysmorphia going on a U.S. tour starting April 18th at what the hell did I type there? At Gabe's. Okay. I think I fat fingered something there. At Gabe's. And then finishing May 11th in Fargo, North Dakota at the 4 and 4. They will be in Memphis on April 20th at 4 Doug. That's the only Tennessee date. Then Midnight is going out starting February 24th, so that's coming up pretty soon. In LA at Poor Kids Mansion, finishing March 21st. In Houston, Texas at Hell's Heroes. And then Midnight is going on a European tour with Cyclone and High Command, starting April 4th in Essen, Germany at Turok, finishing back in the United States May 22nd in Baltimore, Maryland at the Maryland Death Fest Pre-Fest. So that's all I have for this week, hitting the road for the 10th through the 16th.
All right. That will guide us into our theme of the week.
Yes.
This week's theme of the week was life and death.
I'm surprised it took us this long to get to this one, to be completely honest with you.
Well, we've done like them separately in the past, but we've never.
It was way early.
Yeah. Like I said, a lot of the stuff
Super
that we're
early.
doing now is from 2 years ago. So I mean, there's been a lot of stuff released in the last
there has been
couple years that you could add to these things. So
yeah,
or there was some tracks that we may not have thought of or missed, or plus I like to keep it kind of current. So
yeah. Well, the funny thing was, like I say, when you suggested it, like I went back in our library and I was like, have we seriously not done life and death? Because I was like, we figured that would have been like one of the first ones we did. Like it took us a long time to actually do a playlist, a heavy metal playlist about heavy metal. It took us for so long to even think to do one about heavy metal. And I went all the way back, and the only one that I found that we've actually done, it was, as far as I can tell, it was our third one, and we just did life. So we actually have not done one about death.
I think maybe if we did, it was probably during the Podbean era, so we didn't really
but that one is
do all that.
long.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like I said, all the stuff that I'm coming up with is kind of old.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of a renewal of old stuff. So so even if we did do them, we didn't playlist it. So
no, we didn't.
So that's the main thing. So anyway, I got the life portion here. So I will kick this off with that. My first one was Megadeth. This Was My Life from Countdown to Extinction, 1992. And I was like surprised of how like the years are just all over the place with this. It's like,
mine too.
I think I got something from every decade. So my second one was Avenged Sevenfold Afterlife from Avenged Sevenfold 2007. Then I got Korn Got the Life from Follow the Leader 1998. 6 a.m. Life is Beautiful from the Heroin Diary soundtrack 2008. Bonded by Blood Immortal Life from Thrashing Like a Maniac 2008.
Nice.
I got Testament Down for Life from The Gathering 1999. I got Motionless in White Another Life from Disguise 2019. Warbringer Senseless Life from Waking into Nightmares 2009. Non-point Alive and Kicking from To the Pain 2005 or 2019, depends on which copy you have, I guess. So,
right.
But they had to redo that and get rid of 05 for some legality reasons. So I do have both. So
ooh, nice.
Metallica, That Was Just Your Life from Death Magnetic 2008. Then Killswitch Engage, Breathe Life from the End of Heartache 2004. Bad Wolves, Learn to Live from Disobey 2018. Anthrax, Imitation of Life, Among the Living 1987. And Contortion, Thrash for Life from Children of the Snake EP of last year. And some Contortion. And no matter what they come up with now, we have it.
Yes, we do.
So they can pretty much guarantee from anything new from here on out, I'm probably going to buy just so I have the whole collection.
Same. Hell yeah.
Disturbed, Meaning of Life from Down with the Sickness 2000. Went with I Prevail, Lifelines from the Lifelines album 2016. In Flames, Take This Life from Come Clarity 2006.
One of my favorite In Flames songs.
Yeah, that's a good song. Godsmack, Sick of Life from Awake 2000. Breaking Benjamin, Natural Life from Saturate 2002. In This Moment, Next Life from Beautiful Tragedy 2012. So that was my contribution there.
So I lost track. How many did you actually end up with?
I think it was 8. Hold on. Oh, 20. So.
Okay, because I got the death part, of course, and obviously with heavy metal, I basically got the easy part. This one was
like 30. Probably got like 30 or 40 songs.
Yeah, I made sure I stopped at 25. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stop because I could have I could have just kept on going because I mean
how many songs did Death Angel have? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but the funny thing is like sometimes every time we pick one of these. Some are easier, some are harder, and like this one was just like boom, 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 boom. So I mean, just like this one's super easy. So I was like, all right, I got to 25. I was like, I'm done. I'm gonna stop. So anyway,
I think I only had to add like 4. Like when I started to get everything ready to print off, I added like 4 because I'd already had like the 16 from earlier in the week. So I was like,
well, I mean, and that's the thing is, I mean, even when we've had some longer lists. I've still, added a few here and there. So I mean, this list that we're talking about now, there's nothing that says this is even going to be the final playlist when all is said and done anyway. So, because, whether Victor adds something or anybody at the Facebook groups adds anything, or even if we see something else at the end, like there's a song that I was thinking of right off the top of my head that I'm probably going to add to your side. So, and vice versa. So anyway. Leading off, I had "Now We Die" by Machine Head, Bloodstone and Diamonds, 2014. And when you mentioned it, I actually got to looking at my list too. I think I have something from every decade going back to the 70s. So I was like, I started looking as you were going through, like a 70, 80, 90. So shit. So it runs the gamut. So number 2, "Dance of the Dead" by Corrosion of Conformity off of Blind, 1991. "What the Dead Men Say" by Trivium off album of the same name from 2020. "Staring Through the Eyes of the Dead" by Cannibal Corpse off the Bleeding from 1994. "Death Amphetamine" by Exodus, Shovel-Headed Kill Machine, 2005. "A Day in the Death" by Testament, Dark Roots of Earth, 2012. 99 Ways to Die by Megadeth, which was originally a single that came out in 1993, but it did end up on the Hidden Treasures, Rarities, and B-side, and it was also on the Beavis and Butthead Experience, for those that you remember that. Then I went with "Dead Eyes See No Future" by Arch Enemy off of Anthems of Rebellion from 2003. Then I went with "Dead Skin Mask" by Slayer, Seasons in the Abyss, 1990. "Death to All But Metal" by Steel Panther, Feel the Steel, 2009. There's no way that one wasn't going to be on here. "Dead End Destiny" by Hidden Intent off of their Dead End Destiny album from 2021. "Swinging the Dead" by Devil Driver off their self-titled debut in 2003. "Pray to Die" by Extinction AD off of Decimation Treaty, 2018. "Cemetery Gates" by Pantera off of Cowboys from Hell from 1990. DOA, Dead on Arrival, of course. "Havoc, Time Is Up," 2011. "Death Blooms" by Mudvayne, LD50, 2000. "Addicted to the Smell of Death" by Onslaught, Generation Antichrist, 2020. "Creeping Death" by Metallica, Ride the Lightning, 1984. "War on Dead, Eyes of the Living off of their War on Dead album from 2017. Then "Ghosts of Death" by Contortion off the Children of the Snake, their EP from 2023. That's why I fist pumped when you said, it's like, yes, me too. "Now You've Got Something to Die For," Lamb of God, Ashes of the Wake, 2004. "Children of the Grave," Black Sabbath, Master of Reality, 1971. "Dead Memories" by Slipknot off of All Hope Is Gone, even though I know that's a polarizing album amongst us Slipknot fans from 2008. Then I've got "Die or Be Killed" by Helevate off the Purpose is Cruelty, my EP of the year from 2023. And finally, "Left for Dead" by Death Angel, The Dream Calls for Blood, 2013. So
I already know one song I want to add to yours too. So
yeah.
My song of the year last year will be on there. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I've already actually got my part done. So I'll send it on over to Jason. He'll add his part. We'll get it compiled and we'll get it posted for you guys by the end of the weekend latest. Hell, it'll probably be tomorrow afternoon. So
yep. Well, I'll try to do my part as soon as you send it to me. So yeah. Speaking of which, I didn't even post last week's up here. Hold on just a second.
There we go.
Get that up here real quick. We got too many damn windows up.
I hate that. And I did just send it to you, so
Okay.
feel free. So there you go.
There is the playlist from last week, which was push pull. So
Hell yes.
yeah, it's kind of like because I usually go first with these, so I try to put it in a format when I send it to you. It's like, okay, I'm doing it like I'm first. So sending it to you like if I wanted to do death would make no sense if you think about it, because I've been like, oh, we're gonna do Death Life.
Yeah. Yeah, because everybody always says it's a matter of life and death. Nobody ever says it's a matter of death and life.
Death and life.
No one ever says that. No one ever says that.
Why does people not say it though? We need to put hashtag it. Hashtag it. People start saying it.
Hashtag death life.
So, cool. So, and I have a whole list of playlists, by the way, over here. So, but if you come up with something, we will definitely interrupt it. That's fine. So,
oh yeah,
I'm always like, oh, if he comes up with something that's good, I don't have to like keep adding as I go.
Well, I mean, push pull was something I actually did come up with. I saw,
right, it was, yeah.
I
actually,
saw.
Did I put this on? Yeah, I did. Okay.
Yeah, I saw a song and I was like, oh shit, that'd be a good idea. So
yeah, I think you come up with another one too because I had to write it on here and then mark it off. So
oh, I may have.
So I gotta write it down then mark it off. So
yeah.
All right, that will lead us into our album reviews this week, which I don't know if I mentioned it in the show, but I know before we were talking, I was listening to an album. I listened to it twice, going in to get all the details about the review, and then I'll look in Encyclopedia Metalheads and it says, oh, that came out in 23. And I'm like, what the fuck? What did it? And I went back and looked and it said, yeah, November of 2023. So I'm like, well, motherfucker. Like, I didn't even know. Like, it was a great album too. So I'm still going to talk about it. But
okay.
I went with an album that came out this week. So I wanted to make sure I did that one first. So I went with Bloom, Maybe in Another Life. They're a metalcore band from Sydney, Australia.
There we go.
Yeah, their current lineup is Yono Hawkeye. I don't know. It doesn't have a EYE. It just says EY. So I'm guessing it's Hawkeye. Vocals: Jared McLaren on guitars and vocals, Andrew Martin on bass, Oliver Butler on guitars, and then Jack Van Vliet on drums. Okay. Anyway. So the band only has 2 EPs under their belt. This is the band's first full-length release, 10 songs, 29 minutes, 39 seconds, so not real long. This is a well-diverse album. It has hardcore screaming, ballad-like cleans, and I think I read a description on another review saying it was vocals was melancholic hardcore. And I think that's probably a pretty safe anyway, I think it pretty much nails it. So as far as that goes, I prefer the motionless and white type sounds in like the title track over the slower, like I don't know. It kind of reminded me of like a Jimmy Eat World or something when it's slower stuff.
Okay.
So kind of like like I kind of like I don't hate it, you know what I mean? But I'm kind of like I would prefer the motionless white type sound. Of course, I'm a metalcore guy, so
sure,
of course I would. So, but it had like a minute and 6 intro called an entry, which kind of self-explanatory. Which I had no issue with because, like I said, it kind of self-explanatory. When you looked at it, it said an entry and it's 106. You already automatically know it's an intro. So
right, yeah.
So it's kind of self-explanatory. But they also threw in like a minute and 10 song at track 8, which was okay because it kind of blended in with the next track. But with only a 30-minute record, I felt like they could have made that one a little longer, just because it's only 30 minutes. I mean, I don't know why it wasn't why it was a minute and 10, but whatever. Not my art, so I can't really. Really say all I can say is from a listener standpoint. So, so I wasn't like crazy about this album, but I really didn't hate it either. But I'll give it 3 horns just for the sake of just because of the sake of not hating it. But like I said, if its song came on the radio or something, I'd be like, okay. I wouldn't like skip it or nothing.
Sure,
but it's not that bad. So
right. Well, cool. All right, so tell me about this other album then.
Oh yeah. The other album I listened to was Dead Earth. It was from the Ruins, which Heavy Music said it came out this week. It actually came out November of last year when I looked it up. So, um, but it is what it is. They are a power thrash groove metal band formed in 2018 in Cleveland, Ohio. It's like they were active from 2018 till currently. It says they're split up, but far as I know, they just put a thing out in January looking for a drummer to tour. So they're not. I don't think they're actually split up. I think they just lost a member.
Okay.
But from what I gather, it's not.
Okay.
So members were actually they actually took the drummer off the list already. So Jack Sabelich was vocals. Ernesto Colon is guitars. Dan Gates is bass, and Curran Murphy on guitars. Let's try to see who the drummer was. Looks like it was Colton Seidler was the drummer up until 2023. So he was the one that let go or just left. I have no idea. But anyway, seems like they're still intact. The other four guys are. So of course. According to what it says, they're currently still active with the other four. So this was their second full length album. I didn't look it up. It was 11 songs, 40 minutes, 47 seconds. I thought it was a really good album, really fast paced. Not a lot of a lot of the thrashy type vocals. Reminded me a lot of the Overkills, and it actually had a little hidden intent vibe to it too. So I mean, it was really it's pretty much relatable to any thrash band that you follow. So, but I was going to give it a 4 horn because I liked it so much, and then I was just like, wow, this is a fucking 2023 album. But
all right, so what band was that again?
Dead Earth.
All right, I wanna go back and check it out.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know how we. I guess because they didn't put it on there until now for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure because we were talking about it before the show. Not exactly sure how that happened when something came out 3 months ago. It's just now showing up on our website that says it was a new release. So that's a little strange.
Yeah, I don't know. Man.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna.
It is what it is, but like I said, it was the better album out of everything that I listened to. I did listen to a couple other things, but they were kind of yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that definitely happens sometimes, especially with the volume of stuff we try to cover.
Yeah.
All right. My album review this week is the new album Save Our Souls by Sujin. They are a melodic death / metalcore band formed in Laval, France in 2023. This is their debut LP. They are a quintet consisting of Quentin Bruyere on bass, Liam Barbier on drums, Steve Richard on guitar, Matt Lemonnier on guitar, and Julien Mellier on vocals. It is 11 tracks in length, 42 minutes and 12 seconds, with an asterisk because there is a 41-second intro, which at first listen I thought was completely, utterly pointless until I went back and listened to it the second time and realized that the name of the track is ... ... which is Morse code for SOS, which is Save Our Souls. So it's the lead in for the title track, which is track 2. So I appreciated it a little more on the second listen because I still think they probably just could have slapped it on to the beginning of the title track. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. So I would actually say that Sujin is more of a metalcore band with maybe some melodic death metal influences instead of a melodic death metal band with metalcore influences.
Gotcha.
This one might be a little more up your alley, Jason. You may want to try checking this one out.
Yeah, I got that one single that they released. I got it on the playlist. I was really impressed with it. So.
Winter Breeze.
Let me see which one was on.
Because I think there were 2 singles. Because I listened to Winter Breeze last night.
Ashes from the Abyss is the one I put on there. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. That's track 3. So yeah, this was probably going to be a lot more up your alley. Julian, he's got kind of like as far as the vocals go, there's the vocals are more of a metalcore bass as far as the aggression, the aggressiveness of the vocals. Um, Julian Mellier, he reminds me kind of like Spencer Charnas, to where he can belt out something really clean and crisp, but then his more aggressive guttural range, he can do like the regularly aggressive metalcore vocals. He can add a high pitched guttural, a low bottom of the guttural. So he kind of reminds me of Spencer Charnas a little bit in his vocal style, but
Okay.
the cleans on this album are a lot more fewer and further between than Ice Nine Kills does theirs. There's a little bit more of an even split from like the stuff I've heard from Ice Nine Kills. There's a little bit more of an even split of clean and aggressive. What I really liked about the album, and this is one of the reasons why I like melodic death metal over regular death metal, because when you, and I've said this before, but when you throw the melodic aspect into the death metal, it seems like bands who do that, they focus more on the overall structure of a song, to where it's not just like in death metal focuses on like one or two guitar riffs and one or two drum lines, like even the one you talked about, and they focus on those two things and just play it as fast as you can for the next 4.5 minutes, and then we'll go to the next song. So melodic death metal seems to be a little more structured, a little more complex, a little more diverse, and that kind of comes across here. There's a lot of there's really nothing slow tempo in this album, but there's a lot of up tempo, there's a lot of mid tempo, there's a lot of changes between the two. There's a lot of variation in Julian Mellier's voice. Like I say, he does throw some cleans in there, but they're few and far between. But you know, the regular aggressive metalcore is the base of his, is the foundation of his vocals, and then he's got like some high pitched gutturals, low pitched gutturals, and everything in between. So there's a lot of variation, a lot of diversity, like we talk about. There's a lot of stuff that'll keep your attention in this album. There's very well done guitar solos, and everybody who's listens to the show knows how I feel about those.
Mhm.
So Marty Freeman may not appreciate it, but I do. So I was actually pretty impressed by this, considering that I'm not the metalcore guy that you are. So like I say, I would flip the melodic death metal and metalcore label. I would flip the two and say this is more primarily a metalcore band. They do have melodic death kind of influences sprinkled throughout. So I would say this is actually more of a metalcore album. I'm going to give this one 4 horns out of 5. I would recommend it
Nice.
in general, but I think this would be one that you would like especially.
All right.
So
I'll definitely check that out.
definitely a hell of a start to a career.
Yeah, it makes definitely when you come out with an album like that, you definitely can see they have a long and bright future.
Yeah.
Forward. So I didn't mention this in the tour dates, but I was going to. I wanted to congratulate Halo Scars for they had a hell of a show opening up for Fear Factory and Orbit Culture. So,
Yeah. On Tuesday night.
Yeah. So
yeah. Man,
I've talked to Kobe a little bit this week, and he was pretty stoked at how everything turned out. So he said it was crazy because Orbit Culture actually come over to them and say, "Hey, can we sit down with you guys at the merch table?" Like, they came over to them and asked them to sit down with them.
See, that's like, awesome.
Wow, what the hell?
That's respect right there, man.
And he said they hung out with those guys for a long time, so that's cool, man. Orbit Culture is a really cool band. Like I seen them last year with Born of Osiris, so definitely a pretty cool band. So.
Well, and they were supposed to be on that Slipknot tour that we had tickets for that got canceled during the pandemic. So I haven't seen them. I was going to until that show got canceled, but I wish that show would have been on a weekend. I would have. No, I'm talking about the one I went to. No, I'm talking about the Fear Factory Halo Scars.
Yeah.
I wish it.
Fear Factory, gotcha.
I wish it would have been. I wish it would have been on a weekend because I would have driven out to Knoxville to
Oh,
see
yeah.
that. But on a weeknight, it just wasn't meant to be. But
Right.
super duper happy for the guys in Halo Scars. They definitely deserve that. So happy for them.
Pretty cool. So
A definite hearty congratulations to them for that shit.
So what do we got cooking for next week?
All right. Looking forward to next Friday, the 23rd of February. Still another lengthy list, which, you're never going to hear me complain about that. So leading off with 92 with a self-titled EP. We have Absalon with The Blood Seed, Ace Frehley with 10,000 Volts, Amaranthi with The Catalyst, Anubis with Dark Paradise. That's probably going to be my album review next week. Spoiler alert. Arcado with Open Sea, Atoll with Inhuman Implants, Austrian Death Machine with Quad Brutal. Autumn, that may be like a kind of a sleeper one to listen to because that's Tim Lambesis' kind of side project. So that one might be interesting. Yeah. Autumn Blade. What's that?
He says, "Get to the chopper."
Oh, I know. He's so funny. It's fucking hilarious. Then we have Autumn Blaze with Alf Zerfetzen Schwing.
Yeah, it does. It'd be swinging.
Yeah, it does. Bastion Rose with Fade to Blue. That's an EP. Bleak Sanctuary with The Dark Night of Soul. Blood Opera with Songs in the Key of Death. The Body and Disfig with Orchards of a Futile Heaven. Borknagar with Fall. A Burial at Sea with Close to Home. Kathu Badua with Interbellum. The Chronicles of Father Robin with the Songs and Tales of Eroea, Book 3, Magical Chronicle. Coffin Womb with Godless. Cranium with Point of No Return. Cross Chains with Death Grip. Crow's Skin and Bad Luck Rides on Wheels with a split EP. Counting Hours with The Wishing Tomb. Damnation with Fatum. Darkest Hour with Perpetual. Decrowned with Persona Non Grata. Hope they got permission from Exodus to use that. Defying with Wadera. Desolate Tomb with Scorned by Misery. Disastroid with Garden Creatures. Druidon Forest with Dismal Spells Part 2, The Night Circus. Dustbolt with Sound and Fury. I'm going to have to look at this next one because it says...
No, that came out last year.
I was about to say, I could have swore that one already came because they have Ectomorph with Vivid Black listed here, and I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah, that already came out.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, I'm glad you backed me up on that one. Then Electric Death Beat with a Ghost Triangle and the Past Beats of Death. That's an EP. I don't know if those are re-releases. It doesn't say that they are.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
And usually it will. So I don't know if Electric Death Beat is coming out with an LP and an EP on the same day. We may look into that just for curiosity.
That would be a first for sure. So
first I've seen. So we'll look into that one. Electric Feel Good with Jane's Inn, Fange with Perdition, Fragment Soul with Galois Paradox, Galvornithal with H Alpha, Gods and Punks with Mountains of Garbage, that's an EP. Gore Machine with Macerated and Liquefied. Guiltless with Thorns, that's an EP. Hand of Kaliak with Corey Vrecken, I guess. He Was a God with Muckraker. Herzig with Damnatio Memory. Hungover with When It Touches the Heart, Everything Resolves, that's an EP. Hypoxia with Defiance. Imperceptum with Chaos Pilgrimage. Iron Curtain with Savage Dawn. J-Mart with Ominous. Jane Getter Premonition with Division World. Job for a Cowboy with Moon Healer. Carcosa with Esoterocult. Karis with Homo Homini Lupus. Life Cycles with Portal to the Unknown, that's an EP. Lionheart with The Grace of a Dragonfly. Locara with Dark of the Night. Monkey 3 with Welcome to the Machine. Moonin Down with The Third Planet. Morta Sculled with Creation Undone. Motorhead with The Lost Tapes, Volume 1 through 5. We have Mutt with Dirty Deeds, that's an EP. We have Nebularis with Exodus, Shatter Earth Saga Part 1. Nemedian Chronicles with The Savage Sword. North Sea Echoes with Really Good Terrible Things. Out of Darkness with a self-titled album. Pale Dusk with Pale Hell, that's an EP. Palooka with Save Yourself, that's an EP. We have Pat I with Sahara. Persher with Sleepwell, Pirate Queen with Ghosts, Rhino with Human Farm, Samsara Joyride with The Subtle and the Dense. We have Shub Modal with Lost in Kelp Forest. We have oh god, I don't know how the hell to say this. There's no vowels in this goddamn name. Skrock Voldet, I don't know. 012340. Slaughter Terror with Endless Lust for Gore, that's an EP. Smora with Welcome to Your Nightmare. Social Disorder with Time to Rise. Styria with Portal. Stygian Crown with Funeral for a King. Cybris with Gold on Hold. Thorndale with Lightning. Time Loss with Drained. Toad Liquor with Back in the Hole. Toby Knapp with Transmission to Purgatory. Toxicol with Under the Southern Light. Traveler with Prequel to Madness. Tivina with 2 Wings of Ember. We have Utgaror with Fire Smoked Upon the Wolf's Back, and Vincent Crowley with Anthology of Horror. So bound to be something good in there somewhere. And with some of those names, there's probably going to be quite a few that are going to be decent. Mm-hmm. I would say.
All right, cool deal. Yeah, I think a couple of them that seem interesting.
Yeah.
All right, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about before we take off from here. I know we're kind of right at the moment, but I forgot to talk about this in the beginning. David Draymond posted something today that kind of disturbed me. He said, to my fans, my band and I should have played a sold-out show at Meow Wolf in Santa Fe last night, and we were excited for tonight's show at the Rialto Theater in Tucson. Instead, the staff at these venues refused to come to work, forcing cancellations. Without our permission or approval, the venue in Santa Fe misinformed our fans, canceling the show due to security concerns, when the only concern was a group of staffing unwilling to work the show. Tonight in Tucson, we have offered to supplement their staff shortages on our own dime, but to no avail. They do this because they are either anti-Semitic or have confused their empathy for the Palestinian people with hatred for someone like me who has empathy for both Israelis and Palestinians. So this is where those type things kind of spill over into what we're doing here, which is stupid in my opinion, because I mean, we honestly, I've always thought we shouldn't have any business fucking with shit over there anyway. But that's just personal opinion, and that's a totally different topic for a different day. But I still feel like that, you know, if this would have been, I don't know, any other relatable, you know, just say we've been talking about Black History Month, if something like that happened to Live in Color, you know what I mean? Like that would have been the biggest racist thing you ever seen on fucking news, you know what I mean? So just the fact that, I mean, prejudice and racism is prejudice and racism. I don't care who it's against, who it's to, it's still the same category. And to one does not ride over another. I mean, it's all bullshit. It's all you know, it's all stupid, you know. So, you know, I feel for Dave and them because, like I said, they were willing to put up their own money to take care of it. They still got refused, which is bullshit. I mean, like, and I mean, if you've ever watched Dave Draymond in any of these shows, man, he's you know, I'm not sure how he was in the beginning of his career because I didn't pay a lot of attention to it because, like I said, I was doing other things. So it was kind of hard to keep up with that stuff back then. But you know, watching the things that he's done over the last few years with the fan base and stuff like that, I'm just like, man, he's a real down to earth and good guy. Like, I mean, I don't see how you could throw hate and shade at a guy. I mean, just because of, like I said, we shouldn't be showing hate and shade at each other because of our beliefs. That's the main. What we believe shouldn't affect us as a whole. You know, so.
Not to say that everybody has to agree with everybody else.
Right.
That's not the solution. Is agreeing with everybody else's. You know, that's varying opinions should not be the means to racism, hatred, war, violence, all this other shit.
The thing is, if we do, like I said, I got a job I do every day. So if my employer comes out and says they're for one side or the other, and I don't agree with that, so I should just walk out of my job. I'm like,
no,
like how am I going to feed I don't, you know, that's not how this works. Like you go to work, if just because they say, so we have a big thing with our leadership. It says disagree and commit. So that's, I mean, I'll disagree. You can go ahead and I'll commit to you doing pros and whatever, but I ain't got to agree with it. I mean,
and you don't.
Yeah, but that's my employer. That's who, you know, who pays me, who signs my checks, who puts a roof over my head. So I mean, it's to be that like that and just say, no, we're not doing it. Like, I understand that's a whole different story than what the we've talked about with the festival. Those people were actually being mistreated. So I mean, they were going without showers, without food, and like, that's different. Like, this has nothing to do with any of that. These people come to see him play a fucking Disturbed concert. They didn't come there to hear him. They're not paying to hear him do anything other than that, and he probably wouldn't do anything other than that.
No, he wouldn't.
I mean,
he wouldn't. And people go. We've talked about this shit before. People go to concerts to get away from all this bullshit.
Right. Exactly.
Everyone coming together to have a goddamn break for 3.5, 4 hours, however long it is. No. Black, white, Latino, Eastern European, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And it doubly pisses me off. It pisses me off in general, all the way across the board, but it doubly pisses me off in this genre of music, because this genre of music is international. It's all over the world. We have documented this on multiple occasions. We have talked to bands literally from all over the world.
I don't know if you've seen this kind of coincides with that, but I don't know if you've seen it, but they had Eurovision told Israeli they couldn't compete in.
Yes, I saw that. I think that's horseshit.
These people are trying to get away and they probably want to get into a situation where they don't have to talk about or think about a war. So they're going over there to perform and try to get into a better circumstance for themselves, and you're telling them, no, they can't do it.
I don't think that's fair.
It's not fair. I mean, it's just fair. That's just like me coming out and being, if I had a bar and these bands from Michigan came and I'm a Notre Dame fan and I'm just like, no, man, we're not playing bands from Michigan here. Sorry. It was like, that's how stupid does that sound?
It is. It's dumb. It's dumb and vice versa.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just the the fact that and we I talk about this because I post it on my socials all the time because of the fact that people get mad because certain people are in their timelines all the time. Well, why do you care so much that it's easy? You swipe and you keep going.
You just move on. Just keep scrolling.
You don't. And a matter of fact, there's a little X button up there saying you don't want to see stuff like this. So anything that tags that person, guess what? You don't see it anymore.
Right. I mean,
anyway, you can snooze it for 30 days or whatever. It's like,
I mean,
there's always ways around this stuff. Yeah. I don't understand
if you're gonna let it affect your life that much, there are steps you can take to move on with your life. You don't have to ruin a certain thing for countless other people just because you're selfish or you're just hateful.
Basically. Prime example, there were people. A friend of mine posted something on their timeline on Facebook. There were people bitching about what was going on at the Grammys with a remote in their fucking hand. I'm like, you have a remote in your fucking hand. Turn the goddamn channel if you don't like what you see. Like, how hard is that? I don't understand how hard this is.
Yeah, it's not.
They want to run to fucking social media and bitch about the shit. Like, that's going to get them somewhere. Like, nobody fucking cares that you're crying and belly. You need to get a fucking life for one. It's like, if you're crying over some fucking Grammy awards, like, who gives two shits about that shit? I don't. I mean,
and hell, that's the funny thing is they're like, especially in our genre of music, there are some artists in our genre of music. They're like, we don't. I mean, it's nice, but are we worried about winning a Grammy? No.
Well, I mean, there's people that say they wouldn't even show up for the damn thing. Well, I mean, they didn't. Hell, Rob Trujillo's the only person in Metallica that showed up. Yeah, because James and them were just like, "Hey, who gives a fuck?"
They probably are forever. They've probably just gotten a super duper permanent bad taste in their mouth from the Grammy Awards. I don't say I blame them either. So
no, I don't either. So.
No.
But anyway.
Yeah,
but I wanted to share that because I think that's ridiculous, man. Like we're over here, this is my thing. We're and I hate getting political, but I just want to say this: we're in a state in this country that we should be worrying about this country. So I'm just going to say that we shouldn't be, like I said, we shouldn't be saying, "Hey, you can't. We're not going to work for you if you believe in this." I mean, what kind of bullshit is that? Like, I don't understand that. Like,
well, see, it's man.
and the fact that
If
you're gonna, to me, it seems like it's more to it than that, because if he was willing to pay, bring his own people in, and they still denied him, so it's obviously part of the venue.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, and to me, like, if you got people like Dave Draymond knows a lot of fucking people, man. Like, I
He
mean,
does.
so you're gonna shit on your own venue at this point, because he's gonna share that news, and like
Oh yeah.
friends of his, like Five Finger Death Punch, all them people aren't gonna play at your shit. I mean,
Mhm.
they're gonna like, no, we're not playing.
Yeah, you're definitely doing yourself a disservice by just being that way, you know. So I mean,
So, I mean, that's just like, it's just like I talked about buying a piece of land at one point that had a big facility on it, that I talked about it. If I could do that, then I would buy it. I would turn it into a venue to where you could have different stuff in it. You could do comedy shows, you could do rock shows, country shows. Well, I don't give a shit. Like, you will put on some entertainment in the. So to me, if you put on entertainment in the community, you're keeping the community doing something besides shit they probably shouldn't be.
right.
You know, like I said, we've always said there. You got towns where there ain't shit to do. I mean, then you look around and half of them's on meth. Well, because there ain't shit to do. Like,
Right.
they're just like sitting around going, "Huh, wonder what that's like." Like,
Yeah.
you don't ever give them that mindset to ever think about shit like that.
Mhm.
You give them a show to go, to psych up for and go to. Like, oh man, I can't wait to go see this comedy show or this
Right.
rock show, or they're psyched up. Like, hell, I'm going to see Seven Dust in a couple of weeks, and I'm psyched as hell because I missed the first show.
Right.
Even though I got the poster, I still missed the show.
Right.
I got tickets, damn it, it counts.
Hey, yeah, it absolutely.
But then the new poster even looks better. So now I'm like, fuck, I gotta buy another one. Like,
yeah, you do. You know you do. You know you do.
But
Yeah, you absolutely do.
it's just like you buy something and you're just psyched to do it. Like, it's like vacation. Like, I already booked my rooms and stuff for vacation. I'm like, I'm already there. Like,
And yeah, in your head, you're like, oh yeah, I'm in.
yeah,
totally,
I'm
totally.
I'm already there and planning this shit. Like, just to me, it's like a different feeling to drive.
I love a road trip.
And just like knowing you don't have to be nowhere. I think that's the thing. Like, driving and knowing you don't have to be anywhere is such a great feeling.
I do love a road trip.
All right, sorry I got on a soapbox.
No, that's
So
all right.
I wanted to point that out because I think that's kind of like just shitty. I don't care who you are, what band it is or who you are. That's
It's
a shitty situation to do.
It's
you're hurting the fans. You're not really hurting the band.
You are.
I mean, is Disturbed going to lose money? Sure. Can they afford to? Well, fuck yeah.
Yeah, they can.
I mean, you're not hurting them.
Yeah, it's a microcosm of a much larger cultural problem.
Oh well, yeah,
it absolutely is.
All right. Well, after that, I'm just want to let you guys know if you see if you see the ticker going toward the bottom there, you can listen to our 24/7 radio station over there at stream.trulyradio247.com/8006/stream. Stuff getting uploaded there every week.
Yep.
So actually probably be doing some of that tomorrow. But and I actually been snipping stuff and put it on there and letting everybody know, hey, it's what you're missing. So
yeah, I've seen that.
And it's a pretty good lineup of stuff. Like, sometimes I'm surprised myself, and like, I'll be listening to stuff. And I'm like, damn, have they really been playing this shit this good for so long? And I'm just like looking, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is like crazy.
Yes, it really is. It really is good. I mean, go to Spotify and check out the playlists. But I mean, if you just want to, like, if you want to put something on, like if you're doing some work
if
you're doing some work or something where you just need to just listen to something and your hands are going to be busy to where you can't be like hitting your button,
skipping shit.
Yeah. Just put on. I mean, seriously, just put the radio station on. Crank it up to whatever level you want it at, and we can pretty much promise you that you're going to hear. You may not like everything that's on there. That's okay. That's fine. That's totally fine. But you're going to hear a lot of stuff that you like, especially if you're here. You're a metalhead, which means that you're going to like probably the majority of the stuff that's on there. And if there's something that you want on there, metalheadsuniteusa@gmail.com is our email address. metalheadsuniteusa.com is our merch store. Follow us at all of our socials: Twitch, Instagram, Rumble, X, TikTok, our YouTube channel, Facebook group, and Facebook page.
And just kind of giving you a heads up, we may or may not have a guest next week. I don't know. Yes, it was the 23rd was through out there, but I haven't got a confirmation. So, but if you follow us on any of our socials, if that comes to fruition, I will be posting posts leading up to the interview if it is going to happen. So, but, I think he was talking to other bandmates and seeing where they stood on anything, see who can or can't come on. Or whatever.
Yep.
I know they said they were booked tonight. They said they had a show tonight.
Yes,
so we had a show. So I'm guessing it would probably be this weekend before he confirms anything. So just letting you guys know there could be a guest.
Oh, actually, I pulled up the email and
he responded.
Yeah, says, "Hey Jason, next Friday, February 23rd should work just fine. It may not be the entire band, but more than likely 3 of us." So
nice. That works, man. So Hero and the Horror will be a guest next week, evidently. So I'll reply to that in a minute. Or you can. It doesn't matter either way.
Well, I mean, I'll let you go ahead. I actually do need to put an email out to FKU. I do need to do that. I should work on that. But
fuck you too, man. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Freddy Krueger's underwear.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that's so good.
Anyway, gang, so tune in next week. So obviously we have confirmation now. So which is great. So I hadn't checked it today. So I'm glad you looked into that. So.
Well, I decided to check on it since you
brought it up.
You brought it up. Oh shit! Let's see. So yeah, looks like more than one of them at least will be down for the interview next week. So.
Nice. So there we go. Got a second interview of the year going on. So.
Nice.
And then I got 2 other emails out too, so we'll see what happens with those. So.
Yep.
Anyway, went over a little bit, but we just want to make sure we got everything in before we close. Mainly, glad I did now because we'll be doing that next week.
Yeah.
Probably not be talking about it.
Nice.
So if you want to get in on the news of the weeks and stuff like that, you probably need to be on our socials because if we're going to do the interview, we won't be doing any of that. So
that's right.
Next week, so it'll be just the interview.
Yep.
Anyway, so tune in next week. Hope you guys enjoy today. Thank you, Amy and Jeff
and Jeff.
Dana, and actually there was a few shares from podcast friend Jim and who was the other? There was another
John Wayne.
Oh yeah, John Wayne was in here.
Yep. Hot dogs and handshakes.
Yeah, hot dogs and handshakes. Yeah, he was a wrestling buddy of mine. So, no, somebody shared the actual video. I was trying to see.
Oh, did they? Nice.
Yeah. So hold on, let me back up. And it was my page. That's why. Let me switch. Let me switch real quick. So I was back on Metalheads because I had to share it from the Metalheads.
Gotcha.
Let's see. So Jim and Dana liked it. Damn, 2 people shared it. I don't know who they were now. So let me know.
Well, that's still cool.
Yeah, it was cool. TK Music, I think. I think that's what it was. And then Jim.
Oh, okay. All right.
The Old Man podcast. He shared my stuff.
Nice. All right. Cool.
He's a cool dude, man.
We appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, thanks everyone for joining in and chatting with us on the side if you commented.
That's right.
Or just watching it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you did.
Yep. Thanks for stopping by. However long you do decide to hang out.
Yep. So come back with us. It's a real interesting band we're talking to next week. So,
yes, it is.
Tune in and check it out. So until then, keep those horns out high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.
Have a great week, guys. Thank you very much.